What I want to do is like go into some of the things that Doge specifically has been doing, particularly as it relates to the federal agencies. So we will start off with this video. It's not a long one, but we will start off with a quick recap of how's Doge doing.
This video is brought to you by Ground News.
Ooh, Ground
Since the
News.
agency was created a month ago, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, has hogged the headlines. They got access to the Treasury payment system, infiltrated USAID, and fired at least hundreds of federal employees. This has given way to a flurry of disputes between Doge's supporters and its detractors, both in the courts and on social media, and it's since become really quite difficult to evaluate how successful Doge has truly been. Fortunately for anyone who actually wants to do the maths, however, on Tuesday Doge finally published an itemised list of all its savings on their new website. So in this video we thought we'd take a look at this new data and try to find out whether Doge is actually working. Do you kind of hate us? Well, watch us respond to your criticisms from bias to advertising and pronunciations in our dedicated criticism response video. It's linked in the description.
Oh, muted?
Before we get into it,
Oops.
a quick caveat.
Hey, Angry Boost.
It might feel unfair to pass judgment on Doge only a month into its existence. However, there were two reasons we thought this video was still worth doing. First, we now have this official list, and it's pretty interesting. And second, while a month obviously isn't a very long time in politics, it's quite a long time in Doge years, given that, at least according to Trump's original executive order, Doge is due to be shut down by July 2026.
What? Wait, what? Did I miss something?
Order, Doge is due to be shut down. Given obviously isn't a very long time in politics, it's quite a long time in Doge years, given that, at least according to Trump's original executive order, Doge is due to be shut down by July 2026.
Oh, I didn't know that. Was that, where was that? Sorry. I know, quick stun lock. Doge executive order. So, Doge structure, Doge teams, modernizing agency heads. Okay, wait, where does it say that, though? Oh. The US Doge shall terminate on July 4th, 2026. Interesting. Section B. Yeah, I see it. Okay, alright, okay.
Anyway, at
Focus.
first glance, things look like they're going pretty well. On Tuesday, the official Doge website claimed that the agency has saved the American taxpayer $55 billion. If Doge continued at this rate, they'd save roughly $1 trillion by July 2026. Not quite the $2 trillion Musk originally promised, but still pretty impressive. However, dig into the numbers and things don't look so great. For starters, the savings originally listed on the Doge website only amounted to $16.6 billion, and no one really knows where the other $40 billion is coming from. For what it's worth, we suspect Doge is either attributing this mystery $40 billion to the shutdown of USAID, which has an annual budget of around $40 billion, or to the federal buyout program, which offered some 2 million federal employees paid leave until September if they resigned effective immediately.
We're gonna talk about this afterwards. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this specifically afterwards, yeah.
The White House said that it expected 10% of the federal workforce to take up the offer and claimed that would save $100 billion. According to the latest figures, only about 3.75% of the federal workforce took the offer, which, using the White House's own calculations, would imply savings of just less than $40 billion.
Okay, this is interesting. This is interesting because he's so far he's essentially taking them at their word, right? He's taking them at their word, but that's a and you know, he is starting to fact check them a little bit, But already there have been several things that are kind of wrong about what they have said. And so therefore they don't translate into actual savings. Again, we will go, actually, you know what we'll do is after we're done with this, we'll actually take a couple points and springboard off it when we're talking. Okay. Did you get that fork in the road email? I didn't. So what's funny, Mr. Braindead, is that I did get that fork in the road email. In fact, I got quite a few of those OPM emails. And at some point I actually stopped getting them. And I think it's because, so I'm technically a third party contractor. So I'm not subject to them, right? Yeah, like I'm technically in the private sector, if you want to put it that way. So, and same thing, like I stopped getting them, and I think it's because they asked. I don't know why I stopped getting them. I know they just haven't gone to like the junk box or something. Kind of like Jason Bourne. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I've never watched any of the Bourne Identity movies. Okay, maybe that's a crime to admit, but welcome in, Amphibious Orca, anyway. So let's see how he goes. Yeah, let's see.
To doubt these layoffs will actually result in any savings, let alone $500,000 per employee.
Also, but I hate this hat. Why does it look so like sinister, dude? Isn't this like, okay? I'm not gonna conspire. No, hold on. Why does it look so Nazi? Is that just me? Am I the only one who thinks this looks awfully like it's the Nazi font? He says he's dark gothic MAGA. Oh god, it does look yeah, gothic. Sorry, that's the word, not Nazi. Yes.
Actually result in any savings.
It is gross. It looks gross. They Von Dutch the MAGA stuff.
Expensive, and while there will be some savings if these employees aren't replaced, this isn't guaranteed. The federal workforce is relatively lean by historical standards. It actually makes up a lower fraction of the total workforce than it did in 2000, and the employees presumably most likely to take this deal will be the ones who could earn more in the private sector. In other words, the most competent will be the ones who could earn more in the private sector. In other words, the most competent employees who are more likely to need replacing. Similarly, it feels a bit optimistic to claim a $40 billion saving with USAID, given that, like many of the new administration's more dramatic moves, Trump's attempt to freeze USAID spending is currently being contested in the courts.
Quick update on that. I'm pretty sure that they did go ahead and lift that temporary restraining order. So unfortunately, as of when I checked it last, the gutting of USAID is going to be continuing, unfortunately. But again, something that I can't keep too much on top of because it stresses me out too much.
This isn't the only bit of questionable maths either. In fact, the biggest single item in that $16.6 billion list is apparently an $8 billion contract to a company called D&G Support Services. But if you actually look at the contract in the federal procurement data system, it turns out there's a typo, and it's only worth $8 million.
Oh, this is that $8 billion thing. Yes, I did see this. They lied and said that it was $8 billion, and in fact, from what I saw, this wasn't apparently a deliberate edit to go add a couple more zeros, right? Control F. I'll keep that up, okay? I don't want to get too distracted, but yeah, I know we've had conversations about Mr. AFD, Mr. Germany should stop feeling so guilty. Yeah, we've definitely talked about him before.
Cuts the total of Doge's itemized savings in half, from $16.6 billion to about $8.6 billion. Doge has since corrected the error.
Also, I'm going to switch over to politics.
This apparently hasn't affected the total. As of Thursday, the website still claims $55 billion in savings. The next three biggest items were three USAID contracts, each worth $655 million. But again, it turns out that this is the same contract, triple counted, and it's not...
What? What? Oh my god, are you serious? Wait a second.
Still claims $55 billion in savings. The next three biggest items were three USAID contracts, each worth $655 million. But again, it turns out that this is the same contract, triple counted, and it's not actually $655 million. Rather, it's what's known as an indefinite delivery vehicle, or IDV, which basically creates a charge account with a trusted vendor and then provides an upper limit for that account.
Holy shit,
when the federal government
dude.
needs to purchase from a single vendor multiple times, and so sets an open-ended contract rather than creating a new tiny contract for every purchase. And in this case, this IDV runs from 2020 until 2027, and has so far cost the federal government just $73 million, or about $15 million a year.
Bro. Holy shit. Alright.
This would imply that the real savings here are more like $30 million, given there are 2 years left on the contract, taking Doge's itemised total savings down to just $6.5 billion. Again, Doge have since sort of half corrected this. There's now only one contract listed, although it still claims $655 million in savings.
Hey, it's what I was referencing.
It apparently hasn't affected the headline figure of...
Oh, right. You did say that. Like canceling contracts that have a 600 allocated for the program that ends in 2 years, but only 6 million. Yeah. It is what you were referencing, Aeon. I don't know how we missed that. Holy shit.
$55 billion. There were quite a few of...
Wait, what did they say?
Apparently hasn't affected the headline figure.
Oh, okay. I'm guessing that this is from the... Okay. This meme was a rug. Oh, right.
Of $55 billion. There are quite a few of other instances of this, where Doge are taking the upper limit of a cancelled IDV contract and claiming it as a saving, including when the government has so far spent nothing. Now, this doesn't mean that Doge has been a total failure. It's fundamentally a good thing that government spending is being more thoroughly scrutinised. After all, the government's own accountability office estimates that losses from fraud run between about $200 billion and $500 billion a year. It's also true that a plurality of Americans probably don't want the federal government to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on DEI initiatives, which have...
I mean, the thing is that, like, yeah, I'm gonna let him cook.
Doge's main focus so far. Nonetheless,
what did he say about... What does he say? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I missed his entire point about DEI. Hold on.
$1 billion a year. It's also true that a plurality of Americans probably don't want the federal government to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on DEI initiatives.
Would you support and oppose? Oh, UCOV. I'm going to look that up on the side.
Which have been Doge's main focus so far. Nonetheless, it's just a mathematical fact that, according to Doge's own data, they've saved at most a few $1 billion, negligible in the context of a $7 trillion budget and a $2 trillion deficit. This would also explain why, on a day-to-day basis, federal spending is actually up about 15% compared to 2024, and following a normal trend line. This all suggests that, while rooting out fraud is a noble endeavour, it usually takes a long time. And to make a meaningful dent in the deficit anytime soon, Trump and Musk will need to reform big-ticket programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, or the defence budget. To be fair, Trump has gestured at this. Trump's Defense Secretary Pete...
Wait, to be fair, they said that they wouldn't touch, like, Social Security. It's not a to be fair. Hold on. They keep saying that they're not gonna touch, like Trump. I think Trump even recently said that he wouldn't touch Social Security. Like, he literally recently say something? Oh my god. No. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Although Trump has pledged not to cut Social Security, skeptics remain concerned he may consider. But he recently said something. Blah, 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 blah. No, not CPAC. This was before CPAC. Because I know he said this thing. The whole scam thing. Right? Hold on. Let me catch up real quick. Just a quick thing. Security, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, we'll dig into some of this later. Like, I want to finish this. Yeah,
is currently trying to cut the defense budget by 8%, and Trump has expressed his support for the budget proposed by House Republicans, which includes steep cuts to Medicaid. But even these cuts won't come near offsetting his tax cuts and other spending commitments. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, for instance, estimates the House budget that Trump just endorsed would still widen the annual deficit by about $500 billion, and America's debt burden only looks likely to grow in the coming years. As this video hopefully demonstrated, cutting through the political fog has become really quite difficult these days, and even government agencies aren't always 100% transparent. We're increasingly being flooded by misleading content, algorithmic...
Okay, yes, it's a ground news thing.
...feeds that just back up our biases, and reductions in fact-checking efforts. It almost feels like people are intentionally making it harder to get to the truth. One way you can cut through the noise... Okay,
hold on, I'm sorry, I am skipping through. He has labeled it sponsored content, so that's nice of him. Here, how do I... blah, 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 blah. We all know about ground news. If you want to sign up, go ahead. It's ground.news/TLDR. So that's cool. Hey, Testy, welcome in. So I think he's
/TLDR platform.
I think he ends it on that. Okay, all right. I didn't like. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I liked the. I didn't like the. I don't know how much I liked the section like around here where it was basically like, well, scrutinizing the spending is good actually. Like I don't have a problem with scrutinizing federal spending, but it is like pretty transparently clear. No, not yet, Para. Give me a half a second. I forgot to do that during my updates thing. It is transparently clear that like Elon, like Doge and Elon are basically targeting. Well, first of all, quite apart from the whole federal like funding freeze. They are targeting agencies, and specifically agencies that they don't like in particular. Okay? And so a lot of this, and even the things that they are doing, it's not meant to be done as a, like, it's not being done for the purpose of reducing the amount of money that we spend on federal workers, for example. Like, because they would be doing things completely differently. No, the explicit aim of some of these things, and especially the firings and things like that, is to create chaos, is to inflict trauma, and it's not done to save money. Because there's so many things that they could be doing differently if in fact the goal was just to save money. And we're going to go into some of it. But real quick before I do that, so for everyone who's like waiting on lurkers and also the hats, I have to update the word box. So I do apologize that it's been so long past due. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to work on that this week. And so like next Saturday, everything should be up. So I'm so sorry about that. But everybody who were waiting on lurkers, you'll get your lurkers next week, basically. Now, as far as this guy goes, I mean, the first part of it, I would say that like in terms of like, you know, it's an okay video. I just don't like I don't know what the capitulation did, you know? Like, I don't know even that it would really, like, appeal. I don't know how much it would appeal to kind of, like, people who would be swayed by the whole, like, oh, well, they are, like, you know, it's good, like, it's good at, like, I don't know if it just seems like it's virtue. It is kind of sane washing, honestly. Like, it's one thing to try to appeal to a more centrist or right-leaning audience. Like, I understand that specific tactic, and I actually like using that specific tactic when needed. I'm not opposed to using that tactic. I just don't think that, especially with this situation, like, Doge is very clearly not, there's no good. I haven't really seen, like, good coming out of them. Like, if your specific goal is reduce the size of the federal government, then you're gonna think that Doge is good. Because he's literally trying, like, he is doing it with an axe. But it's not benefiting our country. You're just literally reducing the size of the federal government with no concern for the effects on its workers or the people that they serve. So, like, it really, like, so to, like, essentially try to pull in people by saying, well, they are reducing spending. It's like, or it's good actually that we scrutinize, like, where the money is going. Like, no, that's, I don't like that. I don't like that. Apart from that, some of this information was good. I think that, here, let's go through real quick. I don't want to, so with this, God, wait, damn it, where was the thing that I had another issue with? It was the firing of the federal workers. All right, USAID. Oh, right. So it was like this part. Here, I'll find it real quick. Blah, 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 fired at least. Okay, that's the other thing, too. Is the firing of the federal workers. Let's see. Social media, quit, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Here we go. Fired. No.
No one really knows where the other 40 things originally $5 billion.
Okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'll come back to this. Okay, I don't want to get bogged down in this because I just have actual shit to go through. I'm sorry. Let me just pull this up. So I know I've definitely talked before about the whole fork in the road email, and what that was doing. And I've also talked about how the initial buyout offer wasn't really a buyout. It was confusing. It was, it wasn't being clear whether the people would be expected to work or if they had to come in. And still work and their jobs were just being kept until September, or if they could go and do some other kind of job and not and just collect a paycheck from the government, which, by the way, that's none of this was legal. None of this, this is not something that OPM can offer. It didn't come from your agency. Like, your agency is supposed to be the people that you resign from, not OPM. Very particularly, and I think this is what was bugging me, the number that you see when you look at any media website that talks about how many federal workers had resigned is an inflated number, because basically first of all, apparently I need to find where I saw it. Okay, hold on. Because as I understand it, right? Like, auto replies also, if you auto replied, then it put you on the list for the deferred resignation program. So I don't trust any number that comes out, right? But even so, the number that came out, deferred. Even so, let's see. Let's do the most recent one and see if we can find a number, right? Which this is already in itself like they took the buyer that some got fired anyway. Roughly not 2,000, not probationary. I wanted to, oh, here we go, 75,000 workers. So 75, and I've heard this number, okay? 75,000 workers. It's not anywhere, it's not more significant than the number of workers that would resign typically because of like old age or whatever, or retirement age. It's not that different, right? Like, hey, Stakhanov, welcome in, which was less than 2%, right? I believe the figure was 1.6, but I don't have that. I don't have that link. Basically, though, I know I talked about some of it during my last stream, so I won't go too much into that today because I think I want to focus way more on the firings and like very recently the email that was sent out like about from Elon basically. And let's see. Trump had 13 billionaires at his inauguration. On its face, that is neutral. Oh yeah, no, the privatization is the goal. And as I understand it, the way that Elon is doing this is he's employing what's called the what is it? It's called like the it's like the cut in wow, I'm blanking on this shit. Does somebody know what I'm talking about? It's basically where you cut to grow. No, it's not hair. I'm not talking about hair. Jeez. It's no, this no, not pruning. It's basically where you cut too much, cut to grow. Yes, I think that might be it. Or wait, hold on. Isn't that what I just said? No, wait. God, I'll look it up on, and I'll actually look it up on the side here. But like the idea is that you cut too much, you cut way too much, and then you bring back like the best. Like you then go out and you hire. Then you'll actually know who is needed and what they're needed for, and it's something that I guess works for Elon or is it might even be a legitimate like private sector strategy. The problem is that you can't really do that with federal employment because federal employees don't really make that much money. Like that dude was right. Like like dollar for dollar, like typically in the private sector you can make more for what you're doing than in the public sector. The trade-off is supposed to be that with the federal government you have like more security, you have like really good benefits, and specifically you have like really good retirement benefits, right? Like health benefits, all that good shit. So, but in return, like your pay and your salary structure is going to be just less in general. So cutting all these people and undermining the security that they have in their own jobs is like, it doesn't make sense. You can't apply that strategy to this situation. And with how fast he is cutting and firing all these people, there's a lot of information that's just going to get lost. Like there's a lot of like subject matter experts that are just going to leave because they can't stand the insecurity, or because they've already been fired. And bringing people back doesn't make sense. You're just going to be throwing your money down a hole to figure stuff out that's been figured out already for years. You know what I mean? So yeah, that it is very maliciously done, and it's also very, like, it's both malicious and it's also very stupid. Yeah, here we go. I am gonna actually save that for later, McFiston. I don't know if we'll get to like the future later, because right now, like, there's just so much going on with, like, I don't think I'm even gonna get to go into like the specific things that Elon is doing to get into these agencies and why he would be doing that, like, because of just how much shit has come out of Doge already, right? Like, I feel like I could do like 10 streams about it and not cover everything. Okay. And yeah, USPS is another thing. I'm still working on that video. I need to record it. Let's see. Attack from the Kremlin. Fed job's gonna be hard to fill when pips have to worry about this every election. So stupid. Yes, human. I'm just gonna call you human. I'm sorry, your name is very long. Welcome in. But yes, it is going to be harder to fill. I think that whoever is going to respond to all of this is going to have to. In some senses, I am a little bit optimistic in the sense that, like, and don't worry, I'll give you all reasons to be optimistic as well. But, like, one thing that's going to hopefully come out of this is, especially if it doesn't get turned, if we don't actually, like, fall as a nation, right? I think that it will be that we will have stronger, like, protections going forward, because otherwise you are not going to get people into the federal government. That's just it, right? Well, if I have to leave public sector, I promise to be the most destructive force I can be. Yeah, no, Shadow, I understand. Are you telling me that Elon Musk is stupid and doesn't actually know how to manage, and his managers actually have an extra job of hiding stuff from him so they can actually do the needed work? Wait, I don't know if that's like sarcasm or something. I don't know how it's internally managed. Again, I feel like just a deep dive into Doge itself is a really good idea. You know what I mean? Elon is referring how Eon is referencing how Elon's companies actually work. They're structured to insulate from him. Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Okay, let's go through some of these links, okay? Just as a general rule to start with, okay? I'm gonna be upfront and say that I am getting a lot of this information from the Fed News subreddit. And I think you should too, basically. If this is something that interests you and you have, like, the spoons to essentially keep up with all this shit, Fed News is basically where it's at. Right? The, like, Fed News and Fed Discussion are the two subreddits that I've been, like, trolling, essentially. I think that, I mean, they're pretty good webs. They're pretty good. Fed Discussion is a little bit more, it's a little bit more, not informal, but, like, it was created from Fed News. So, you know, it was what it is. I love that Fed went from insult to hero in like a week. Glitter, it's not yet. Not yet. I think that most people online, or most people who are in the know about it, are like, they're starting to pick up on it. But I think that I would say that the majority of, like, the media, they're still calling these layoffs. They're still calling them firings. They're not saying that they're illegal. You know what I mean? As an example, and these are the media channels that are, reporting on this. Just because there's so much shit that's happening, there's not a whole lot that I'm actually seeing, like, about this story. Like, I mean, we're seeing a little bit, but not as much as we kind of should be, given how many people actually rely on, like, the services that federal employees provide. And again, I don't know if it's even sane washing glitter. It's more like people don't sometimes like people don't understand. Like here's a really a good example, right? And this was, let's see, where is this link? Okay. We'll go over the email in a second, okay? So the firings that have been happening they have all been probationary employees so far. Okay, now this is completely and utterly separate from the deferred resignation thing. When you go to opm.gov, this is like I actually had to come onto this website to like look up something for work or whatever, and I remember seeing this section right here that's called fork, and I was like, God, that's so fucking unprofessional, dude. How disgusting is it that this is the website for basically the HR of the federal government, and there's a fucking section that's called fork. Yeah. This is DEI. What is this? You know? So, and then if you just click on it, it says, it just says, the deferred resignation program is now closed, blah, blah, blah. So right after this finally ended, they went ahead with their firings, okay? And they basically the Doge went through agency by agency and started firing every single probationary employee, okay? And, let's see here. Research changes including, Shadow, the one where woman and disabled are not allowed now, or I think that was it, right? Well, makes sense they'd be the first to go. No, Testy. No. See, this is this is kind of part of it, okay? First of all, if you look at probationary, right? What does probationary mean, right? It just means it's just the period of time that you're in your new position for, right? And the problem though is that it does not mean new employee, because you could have been working for the federal government for years and years, and now you're in a new position and now you are a probationary employee, right? And the thing is that, Lurkus, I'm actually going to pin that because I'm going to respond to that in just a second, okay? Depending on what the position is, it could be, look, here, I'll just read it. Probationary employees for federal employees typically last for 1 year. In less common circumstances, certain agencies and federal positions require 2-year or even 3-year probationary employee periods. So it's it's crazy because you have especially if you've been on or if you've been trolling through these subreddits, you get stories of people who are basically I was a day or two away from being done with my probationary period. That's it, right? I was a fucking probie for 3 years. Yeah, we've been calling them probies, right? So that's number one. Number two, even if you were a new employee, it kind of doesn't matter because new employees mean these are the new people. These are the people you kind of need. It means the newer the employee, the more you were needed. You were hired because you were needed. It doesn't make sense to just fire. If your goal is to reduce the size of the government, there are ways that you can do that are legal. But they weren't doing that. They just went in, sent emails to all the probationary employees, and they specifically the wording that was used in these emails was that they were being fired because of performance issues, which is another huge red flag, because you can't just fire them for performance issues.
I'm a pedophile.
What the McFiston! Here, take this money.
Here, take this money. I'm a fucking tired boss.
McFiston, please. I promise you, there's a silver lining at the end of this, okay? Don't go down the... Don't go into the light. So, okay. Yeah, so getting back to it. And here, I'll actually get the music back up because I feel weird, like, speaking into thin air. Can't they hey, ugly non-binary guy, can't they sue now if they can't actually prove these performance issues? It's a good thing you asked, because yes, there is quite a lot of pushback to this. And, you know, we'll get into, like, the efficiency of that in just a second. I have some links pulled up. But real quick, before I forget, Lorca said they're the easiest to get rid of. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's efficient. I don't know if I would agree to that they're the easiest to get rid of, because, like, technically speaking, I guess you could say they're easier, but even then, the way that they've been doing it is by performance issues. So, like, it's just really easy to just challenge it that way. You know what I mean? And the thing is, and here's the thing, right? There is an actual procedure for a reduction in force, which, by the way, just so you know, if you see reduction in force, anytime you see a media website or anything else says reduction in force, layoff, firing. Firing is like, I'll take firing a little bit, right? But anytime you see, here, let's see here. If you see this language and it's not got, like, illegally in front of it, it's basically kind of misinformation, because what they're claiming that they're doing is a reduction in force. But the thing is, reductions in force have a procedure. Like, this is the procedure right here, okay? Like, you're supposed to consider all of these things, like what their tenure is, like the military preference, like how long they've served, and their performance ratings. And all of the probies that have been fired, their one like common quality is that they're probies, that's it. Even in cases where, like, they had received stellar performance reviews, they're still getting fired. And the thing is, the RIF process is basically, like, it has rules. Like, first of all, you have to give them like 60 days. No, wait, hold on. It's, here we go. Under current law and regulations, agencies are generally required to provide written notice to employees affected by an RIF 60 full days in advance of the date of release. When an RIF is caused by an unforeseeable circumstance, the head of an agency may request approval from OPM to provide notice less than 60 days in advance, but that approved shortened notice period must cover a minimum of 30 full days before the date of release. And the thing is, in these cases, a lot of these people are just being told, you're not coming. Like, they're coming in and they're, like, saying, you're fired. Don't come back. Let's see here. Hey, hi, Hyper, welcome in. They say it's for performance and no metric sure. They're setting it up for the lawsuits. There is a class action lawsuit, ugly non-binary guy, and here I will go into that right here. Let's look at it real quick, because I think that this is like, you know, this is obvious. I don't think I need to go through the entire reduction in force when, like, Doge is, like, throwing it all out. You could pronounce it like the first half of riff-raff. Riff. Yeah. It's, I don't know why it feels weird to, like, say riff. Okay. So the class action lawsuit. Okay. Here's the problem. There is a class action lawsuit. Okay. There is one. The problem is that there are other alternatives. Well, there's a couple of alternatives right now. Right now, one of the things that you can do as a fired, and I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a second because that's quite a lot of like information. And I'm also going to paste this. I'm gonna like make this rework this document a little bit and then post the link somewhere so that you can have like a full list of things. Here, actually, I'll see if I could show you real quick. Can I show you my document? Hello? Hello? Where's the React? Hold on. Bear with me a moment. Notes. Where's my notes? Oh, here we go. Why is it Obsidian being a butt face? Okay, here we go. So, like, oh, can I not zoom in? Oh, that's freaking lame. Okay, well, like, yeah, I have a whole thing of like what to do if you get fired. Like, what are the links you can do? There are some lawyers that are looking for people who have been fired illegally, and there are here we go. Let's just get a quick one, okay? Like, what do I do now? Fired IRS probie, you know, person in the pits, right? Second, look at your SF50, like find out if you're part of like the bargaining, like a collective bargaining union, right? Lawsuits, who you can contact. One of the things that you're supposed to be able to try to do is see if your agency is like appealing for the for your firing, because there have been people who have been called back, right? Here, Shadow actually sent me this link. Oh, here, I got the archive version. So, like, for example, at the FDA, some employees that had been fired have been actually called back to work because I don't know specifically in the FDA's case if it's because of, like, an appeal, but if it's some other reason. But we already know that, like, Doge is being fucking incompetent and they're firing too many people. They fired fucking nuclear... They fired those nuclear workers. And then, wait, hold on. Let me look that up real quick because I actually forgot to put that in here. Doge. Wow, okay, hold on. Doge, nuclear layoffs. Doge reversal. Nuclear weapons workers. They fired the people who were in charge of our nuclear weapons. So, yeah. There are options and not just class action lawsuits. The problem with, I'll admit that I was rather hopeful about the hearing. So there was this hearing, which was supposed to happen on President's Day, which did actually happen on President's Day, where they were trying to essentially stop Doge from going through these agencies and firing people. Unfortunately, it did not turn out so great because Judge Chutkan did refuse the request, which was pretty disappointing because I think that people know that Tanya Chutkan is she was one of the judges that was involved in the January 6th the January 6th cases, basically. So people were hoping that she would be similarly harsh on Doge. But in this case, she basically said that, let's see, what did she say? No, I don't think it was this. No, Testy, I don't think it was that. Here, I will pull up that bird flu and I'll look at it in a second, McFiston. But like, I don't think that this was the same one because this was dismissed for a completely different reason. This was not dismissed because the unions were representing. It was dismissed because, let's see here, let me read this. Or did she become a toady? No, I don't know how I actually feel. I feel like I need somebody who knows a bit more. But I feel like I need Murutsi or somebody to tell me a little bit more about this, about whether this was like a fair call, so to speak. Okay, so basically she says, plaintiffs legitimately call into question what appears to be the unchecked authority of an unelected individual and an entity that was not created by Congress and over which it has no oversight. In these circumstances, it must be indisputable that this court acts within the bounds of its authority. Accordingly, it cannot issue a temporary restraining order, especially one as wide-ranging as plaintiffs' request, without clear evidence of imminent irreparable harm to these plaintiffs. The current record does not meet that standard. And so, as I understand it, the actual, here, let me see if I can get this, can I make this bigger? Can I make that bigger? Let's see, what did it want? What did it ask for? Oh, here we go. It asks for, a judicial declaration that Musk's role and actions are unconstitutional. It asks for an injunction preventing Musk from issuing orders to federal agencies. And it asks for a nullification of all executive actions taken by Musk through Doge. So, I think that, like, to my view, unfortunately, I can see how some of these things are a bit broad, especially with what she says let's see, what did she say here? Here we go. I don't mean to be dismissive, but it's sort of like a prophylactic TRO, and that's not allowed. And then, okay, I'll read the rest of the interaction because it's actually quite interesting, right? It's, So a lawyer who represents New Mexico said, they're stepping well beyond the authority in the four corners of the executive order to the extent that they've said they've charged with rooting out waste and fraud. Henry Graver, who is the representing Doge here, said there are very clear paper trails for all the actions taken by Doge, and there's not a single instance of Musk commanding the actions in his own name. And this is where that whole, like, is Musk the author of, or like the leader of Doge? This is where that comes in, right? This is where it actually fucking matters, right? Graver, sorry, no, I think Graver is not representing Doge. I don't know why I said that. He's a lawyer for the Justice Department. Nowhere have my friends offered a shroud to show that Elon Musk has any formal or actual authority to make any government decision. And Chutkan was basically like, I think you stretch too far. I disagree with you there. I mean, I think it's, again, I'm gonna need a legal check, right? I think I need a legal check on that because unfortunately I can see where it's like Musk. And this is why you saw the Justice Department coming out and saying that actually no, Doge is not Musk is not a Doge employee, right? Like, this is why you saw that happening. It's because of this specific hearing. So yeah, this is disappointing, but like, again, there are more legal challenges coming in, and in fact, I found one of the here we go. I found a litigation tracker that has every single legal case that is currently being presented to challenge like the Trump administration, essentially. So this is cool. I think I'd like to see like, you know, I'd like to see a column, because right now it says right now this is actually a great, and again, I'm going to be putting all of this, I'm going to be putting all of these links in, like, I'll put it in my Discord so that people can kind of jump off it if they want, or borrow it or steal it, or I don't care. Okay, I don't care what you do with it. Take it out and spread it to the world, because this is actually pretty cool. The only thing I would like to see is, like, you know, links to like what's next, you know, because I need that. I need like the what's next. Can't it be brought back up? I'm sure that it could. The problem that I am seeing with, or the problem that I'm anticipating, okay, is that they might be able to say stop Doge, right? But if Doge issues an executive order, or if Doge goes ahead and lets its will known to the agencies, then theoretically the agencies can then decide to take things from there, right? So if you have an agency that then continues to do what, like, you know, even in a legal manner, and if, you know, if it's in a legal manner, I don't have so much of a problem with that, because then at least they would be following like the RIF procedures, right? They wouldn't just be firing any old person based on whether you're a probie or not. They'd be they'd actually follow the procedure, letting go of, I'm sure there are people who have poor performance issues. Why don't we let go of those people? You know, like, I think that there's, like, again, I think that there is, you know, if you want to talk about, like, going back to, like, the dude who was, like, kind of, like, sane washing it or whatever, I mean, I think that it's fine to do those things and look at your low performers and go ahead and get rid of some of those. That's fine, right? But yeah, so going back to what I was saying earlier, it might not be enough to just say stop Doge. You know what I mean? The thing though is, right now it's just chaotic right now, because everyone's getting fired, some people are getting rehired, some people are choosing to leave and find other things. It's like, it's a little chaotic right now, right? So let me move on. So let's see here. So yeah, again, that just happened this week, or on Tuesday. She made the ruling on Tuesday. So I don't know. I have not heard yet, like, what's the next step. I am going to go through that litigation, because I didn't get to go through the litigation tracker, like, more thoroughly. Like, you know, I'll whenever I make an update, like, if there's another case being brought, I'll go over it. Let's take a look here. So what was next? Right. So with that being said, no, not the Dolphy victim statement. We can talk about the Dolphy victim statement later. Again, it's hard to like keep your eye on the ball a little bit because he like, they're just going through and they're moving fast and breaking things, or whatever that phrase is, right? Okay. Let me just pull this up. Okay, cool. Only if it cut a little off the top. Oh, this test. Hey, Anna K, welcome in. Okay. So, recently though, what has been the newest thing, okay, is freaking Elon going ahead and blasting out a fucking... oh, actually, hold on. One thing real quick before we move on, right? So White House, this is what I referred to, right? Where they were like, yeah, White House is not, like Elon is not, fuck, goddamn. He is an employee of the White House office and serves as senior advisor to the president. Despite the fact that I believe Trump later went on to say like the opposite. So, I'm not sure, what's going on there. And again, I do want somebody who knows more about this to like tell me like if I'm correct in thinking that it's not enough to like just go after Doge. I mean, I think going after Doge is like, I just think that they need to resubmit those lawsuits, right? Like they need to resubmit it and actually make it clear what they're targeting, what they're asking him. Oh no! Bird flu found in California rats as USDA scrambles to rehire scientists. There we go. Holy shit. Hey, thank you. Hey, Mad Lad. Thanks for gifting Butt Dentures a subscription. I hope that they appreciate that sub. How are you doing? Let's see here. Oh, here we go. The USDA, okay. The USDA said last week that it mistakenly fired officials involved in the federal response to the H5N1 avian flu outbreak. He laughed like a weird, evil villain during the Tucker Carlson interview too. Gotcha. It's funny because like the probe, that's the other part too, is that like the probationary employees thing, it really does seem to be like just copy paste. Anyone who's a probie, they just go, regardless of what they were doing, regardless of how essential they were. Now I will say in some cases, like for example with the IRS, they were very specifically, they did show some evidence of like brain cells firing, because they specifically targeted first the IRS employees who weren't like involved in filing. But they went ahead and fired all of the non-filing IRS probies. So, like it's in certain cases there has been some, I'm blanking on the term, but basically like, they're doing some selection there, right? I'm not sure if it's true, but they said that message was AI generated. I mean, forethought, yes, thank you, Profiley Face. Yeah, forethought is a good word there. What do you mean, which message do you think was AI? Because the thing is that all of these people, all the people who were, who received, like firing, here, let's just search for like fired. Let's see if I can find a, let me see if I can find a letter. Where's the letter? No. Okay, that's a picture of the letter. Oh, here we go. Never mind. God damn it. I can't, I should have found it. I should have found an example. I'll find an example. Oh, the notes app is covering. It doesn't, I guess it doesn't matter because I wasn't able to find one. Okay. But like, the thing though is that they, God, what was even my point gonna be? Hey, Church of Holy Moly. I remember you. You're that Destiny Orbiter. He's going to jail soon. Hopefully, you're next. Oh my god. Fucking gold of a copy pasta. Holy shit, dude. Nice to meet you too, I suppose. God damn it. That's actually funny. Did you see that clip of the Republican getting called out by members in his district? I did, Yamato. And I want to see more of that. But the thing is, and this is kind of like why I wanted to do this segment, right? Part of the problem is that there isn't, outside of this Fed news and Fed discussion and like the talk that's happening within federal employees, there's not a whole lot of like actual conversation that's been happening like with like everyday people. And where there is actually conversation being happening, you know, like especially if you read all these people's stories and shit, a lot of it is being responded to like, well, we wanted to reduce the size, you know, there are so many lazy employees, there's so many blah 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 employees, don't worry, it happens. Like that's sort of like, this is kind of like the language that's being used, right? The backlash, I want to see more people knowing about it, so that more people can actually have like a backlash. Because right now, like if you just look at the way that it's being presented in like the media and stuff, I'm just going to well, okay, I don't want to bias it by like actually searching for it, but if you search for like federal firings, a lot of it doesn't actually talk about how this is like illegal, right? Like that's it. That's part of it, right? The second part is, I don't think that people understand just how much disruption is going to occur with the firing of all these like federal employees. It's not going to hit them yet. And I think that they should know probably before they get hit, right? I'm gonna find that, right? Because I talked about this yesterday. But already there are Social Security officers that are being closed. Because these people have been fired. You know? And like it's you know, here, like right here, force people to travel up to 135 miles further to the local like Social Security office. Like I think that people aren't realizing like that this is about to happen, and this is the sort of thing that's not going to hit them overnight, right? If you're not somebody who has been directly affected, or if you don't know somebody who has been fired or something like that, you might not see the effect until like kind of later. I really think the post office is going to really fuck with the public in ways unimagined. Yes, McFiston, the post office is a whole mother like can of worms. I keep having to rewrite my script. Because yesterday I rewrote the script, and then today again I have to rewrite the script. I have to rewrite the end of the script again because of like the stuff that I heard literally today. So yeah, the USPS is like a whole nother can of worms, but we will talk about it. These people don't care. They're thinking from a complete business standpoint. They don't care how bad the country's going to be affected as long as they get a portion of their share that they feel like they deserve. Okay, to a certain degree, Yamato, I understand that, and I understand, so from yesterday's conversation that I had with Kid, I can understand how, no matter what happens with certain people, it's never going to be like nothing that happens is going to change their mind, so to speak. Even if they feel like the negative effects directly, for a certain subsect of the population, I don't think that they would ever like change their mind, or they wouldn't want to ever look beyond the narrative that is being given to them, if that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, I'm not, I know, like, yeah, I know what you mean, Glitter. But, like, the problem, though, is that, and this is what I was talking to Kid about yesterday, I was kind of hoping, and I still kind of hope to a certain degree, that, like, you know, as soon as, like, so for example, like, with the Social Security thing, you know what I mean? If there are less Social Security offices, because Trump has canceled the contracts for the spaces and fired the people who were working there, they're just not going to get support, right? And when they don't get support, you get cases like I did the other day, just the other day. And I said this yesterday, but I'll say it again. I was talking to a lady who is a civil service annuitant, and therefore her annuity is managed by OPM. I can't serve her. I don't serve her. They can call me, and I will direct her to them. And she kept telling me, I haven't received my pension in 2 months. And something is wrong. I don't know what's wrong. Can you help me? And as much as I would have loved to help her, I couldn't, because she's not under me. She's a civil service annuitant and is therefore served by OPM. And I kept telling her, this is the point of contact. And she said, yeah, I've been on the phone. Nobody ever answers. If somebody does answer, they transfer me to, they basically direct me to you. And I'm like, no, lady, no, they are the ones who're supposed to be doing this. And she was so distressed. And I really felt, I felt for her. I was like, I had no words. I didn't know what to say to her, because at some point I was like, I don't know what to say, because this is your point of contact, so you have to keep trying. And she was like, it's not supposed to be on me to keep trying. And I was like, what do I say to this lady? So my hope is that we get more cases like that, where, in the sense, like, obviously I don't want people to suffer, but, like, I would hope that this kind of this person, for example, would go out and, yeah, contact her house rep. Right. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, and especially once it's, and again, my hope is that, like, these people are, like, but I also understand that, like, this particular population that I'm talking about, like, which is, like, kind of like the older people, right? One, all right. Your wish is my command. The problem, I think, is that for a certain amount of these people, like, they're not, like, no amount of their own nose getting cut off is going to, like, stop them from thinking that this is, like, needed, because some other people are getting hurt more, you know what I mean? So to a certain degree, I do understand wanting to focus on other people. Like, I understand that. I do think we need to keep pushing, you know, the class actions, and also, like, pushing, like, especially within your own agency, like, doing what you can to, like, get your job back, right? But, like, beyond that, for, like, average everyday people, I think that, like, average everyday people also need to be aware these aren't legal firings. This is going to fuck our, like, actual day-to-day life, and it shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? We need pressure on Congress as soon as these failure points become visible. Exactly, right. So, like, you know, the fact, because I'm gonna be honest, I've been working, like, I've been doing what I do for, like, 3 years now. I've never had, like, I've always gotten people who would tell me that they're really glad that they got to talk to a person, and that, you know, or they'll say, like, you know, that it's actually really hard to find information that's, like, presented clearly and, you know, laid out for them. And I understand that. And that's, like, the normal thing of what I get. You know, I never really get the system is actually fucking failing. You know what I mean? Hey, Red Radius, welcome in. This is solid gold. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm trying to focus today because I've been needing to do this for a while. Okay, let's really quick get into the email stuff before I forget it. Okay, so wait, let's see. Did I click on this one? Was it this? Okay, yeah, no, we went over this real quick. They're waffling about whether Elon is a part of Doge or not. I'm just gonna get rid of some of these. We'll come back to them later. And also what Shadow was saying earlier, that like vets are being fired. Vets are being fired, and that is a problem. So, you know, I'm like, so there's things like that. It's like, I'm hoping that like people are gonna shout about it enough that it becomes that people start making it their like representatives problem, you know? Okay. The email stuff. All right. So the email stuff is funny. I don't know who has received this. Okay. I actually did not get I did not get to see the actual tweet. Elon email tweet. Okay, where is this? So, okay, I you know what? I don't care about linking to the actual... Get fuck out of here. I don't care about linking to the actual thing, okay? So he basically was like, hey, y'all, what did you do last week? Okay? So this was the email, right? Please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachments. Okay, then he, this was right after he fucking tweeted this, okay? Consistent with, oh, right, because, here we go. Where is this? Here, fuck it, I'll look at it. Consistent with President real Donald Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. What a fucking... Oh my god. By the way, also, Profiley Face, you'd want to put a space between lurk and beans. So, yeah. So, the email... So now, the email itself doesn't say that, like, you know, the failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. But this is like... this is crazy. Okay, this is wild. Okay, so here, look, here's an example. Okay, by the way, here's an example of what I mean. Like, this is okay. Like, recent termination of thousands of employees on probationary status, a deferred resignation offer that many viewed as questionable, and a requirement to return to the office full-time, among others. This is kind of what I mean when I say that the way that the media is talking about it is, I understand what they're trying to do, and they're trying to keep it simple, or they're trying to, like, summarize it. The problem is that this just as an example, we've already talked about how this deferred resignation offer, it didn't start out by being an actual legal, like, followed by the procedure deferred resignation offer. Like, there is deferred resignation. This was not that. Like, later on, it was like kind of hamstrung into kind of resembling what a normal deferred resignation would look like. But even as I understand it, even right now, what people have agreed to and the people who are going forward with it, it's not a standard deferred resignation, like... So, when you call it a deferred resignation, I feel it is misrepresenting what was actually tried to, like, by Elon, right? Same thing with this recent termination. Termination of thousands of employees in probationary status is a little better. right? At least they're not saying rifts, or at least they're not saying layoffs, because those two things imply certain actual procedures. And if they had said that, then it would imply like that's how that you can actually legally call it a riff or a layoff, right? So anyways, requirement to return to the office full time, blah blah blah. Okay, I don't care about that one. So, oh, here we go. To be clear, the bar is very low here. An email with some bullet points that could make sense at all is acceptable, he posted. Should take less than 5 minutes to write, okay? Now, what's funny is that with, here, let me hide this real quick. Not hide this, but like, the funny thing is that, like, this is how crazy this shit is, because, like, federal agency heads are basically saying, like, ignore this. They're saying like, hey guys, you don't have to listen to this. Like even freaking Kash Patel, who I'm pretty sure was like, here, let me, is it here? Where is this? Here we go. The FBI, through the Office of the Director, is in charge of all our review process and will conduct reviews in accordance with the FBI procedures. For now, please pause any responses. Oh my god. I sent you a video of the current Trump strategy and how we can combat. It kind of applies to what you're talking about right now. I think what we'll do, Yamato, is we'll watch it as like a roundup to the segment, basically. Like, especially if it's like strategy. Yeah, I agree. We can look at it. So like, so basically right now, if you look at Fed News, right, they're not talking about the firings right now. Everybody's talking about the fucking, the email. Just because it's another thing that's being thrown at them to try to to intimidate them and basically like get them, if he's just fishing. Yeah, no, he's actually just this is the thing, is that like, everyone's talking about how basically like, you can't do this. You can't just reply to like, by the way, just so y'all know, this is an email that's being sent from like the email address that was the email server that was set up on site by Doge. They went into OPM, installed an on-site email server, and just started blasting out these emails, right? That fucker is putting America at risk. That list is able to be, freedom of it. Yeah, exactly. And you can't just tell people what you do. You can't just tell people what you do. Hillary, butter emails. Butter emails. It was a GeoCities URL. Wait, what? Oh, like, you can't just tell people what you do. Like, not everybody can actually say what they do. Even if it's like, and again, even if the rest of these emails didn't read like a fucking phishing scam, which it actually fucking does, like, you can't just tell people what to do. This is an attack on the nation. People are struggling to process that, but it's not a joke. Oh yeah, well, I also, yeah. it's so fucking crazy. And like, the thing is, wait, here, let's see. Now, the good thing, and like, actually, this is a pretty good summary. Here, did I keep this? Is this one of the links that I had? Because if not, I should actually have this in the doc here, because the thing is that we are seeing responses already, okay? Apart from like the heads of agencies. Now, some agencies are apparently like giving guidance to their employees, like, okay, here's how you can structure it, just so that you can record it. This is Elon just trying to figure out what the government does. Hey, YouTube dork. You know what's funny is that, again, I think that I really feel like now that like another segment would be just like about Doge specifically, and what information they're trying to get and why. I've heard some people say that basically it's like he's trying to get more information for his AI plan, right? Is this the one? Is this basically it? Doge data release criticized by Intel community. Oh, okay, wait. I think this was like the stuff that was on its website, right? Like what was the stuff? Yeah. Yeah. Part of this is to train Grok on what everyone does for sure. Yes, and again, like I feel like it's a completely separate can that we'll probably have to get into. But like I understand that that's also probably why he's just like getting into these systems and like why he's getting all this access to this shit. But you know, we'll talk about that another time, I think. I will say that people are being really trolly, man. Like people are people are using AI to like structure and put in acronyms in their responses, right? Like people, some agencies are giving guidance to their employees on like how they can respond. But I think there are a lot of agencies, like for example the FBI and apparently the Department of State, has said like, I mean I haven't checked, I didn't look. This was a fucking email that came in on a Saturday. So apparently like even the Department of State has said basically like, no, don't respond yet. But there is also like pushback specifically for this. Here we go, let's look. So there is, here we go. Representative Gerald E. Connolly. Also here, let me scroll down here real quick. Okay. This threat is illegal, reckless, and yet another example of the cruel and arbitrary chaos Mr. Musk is inflicting on the people's government. You must immediately clarify that federal employees' non-response to this ill-conceived weekend email does not constitute resignation. Yeah. So, there is, like, pushback on it. But it's now, you know, the email thing, I feel like it's pretty, I feel like it's pretty bad, but it's also not, like, as bad as, like, the firing, I would say. Unless he somehow goes through with the threat to like fire employees who don't respond, right? Yeah, I saw this too, McPhiston. I saw this too. Okay, this email will cost taxpayers at least $17 million, right? Estimated reply time of 10 minutes. Wage and employment figures from the agency formerly known as the United States Digital Service. Rest in pepperonis. Total minutes replying, total hours replying, total annual wages, total cost of this bullshit. $263,071.90. So, way more than 10 minutes per employee. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing too, is that like, if I, like, not that I would be subject to this specific email, because again, contractor. And also, again, I don't know if I'm receiving those HR emails, those OPM emails. I don't know if I'm receiving them. But, I am going to be checking. Glowy. No. Part-time glowy. No. I don't even know what you could call me. What's amazing about this latest fiasco is that it comprises waste, fraud, and abuse. True. So yeah, so that's the thing that's happened most recently. I think that we'll probably want to get back to like talking about the firings in like a hot second as soon as this is more or less resolved. But I also it also kind of goes back to like what would be the appropriate response to like, you know, like who would you want to go after? Because I don't think it can just be Elon. And I think going back to like the hold on, let me see if I can pull this up one more time. Going back to that New Mexico Going back to the New Mexico lawsuit, right? Oh wait, that's small. I don't want the small one. I want the big one. Going back to the New Mexico thing. Let's see here. Where is it? Can I open in another one? Yeah, let's go. Nullification of all executive actions taken by Musk through Doge. I think, like, I think hopefully want to see this, like, expressed in a way that is actionable, right? I mean, again, I can unfortunately see how Doge would just be able to say, like, woo, Musk isn't technically saying anything, so, like, throw all of it out. Like, unfortunately, I could see why Chutkan, like, denied the TRO, you know? So, I guess we'll see. Is it for GS employees? This was sent to that email was sent to every federal employee. So, I imagine, yes. Maybe Shadow can check me on that, right? I think if I'm not mistaken, hold on. I feel like I should know this, but like, yeah, it's because it's just a pay like schedule, right? So, like, you're still if you're a GS employee, that's like, GS is just like your pay system essentially, as opposed to like FS, right? Why not go one more time, just as a funsies, just to like remind people that, like, actually, you know, they don't make, federal employees don't make that much money, right? It's just, and it's also really easy to find, by the way, okay? Literally just search for, like, federal employee pay scale and go on down to, like, their salary tables, right? And take a look-see, right? This is not a lot of money. Let's pick a random number, okay? I'm just, like, literally picking a random number. There's not a lot of above 100,000s, right? The 100,000s come in, actually, when you are grade, like, you know, the upper grades and the upper steps, which represents, like, quite a bit of service towards the government. So, like, no, federal employees don't make a lot of money. They do it for other reasons. Like, you're not a federal employee because you want, like, prestige or some shit, right? When is Trump releasing the Epstein files? I have no idea. Welcome in, Prison Mike. Prison Mike G. Okay, let's move on. Before we move on, actually, we'll watch, let me grab some water. We'll watch the video that Yamato sent. Actually, let me see how long that is. How long was that video? And then we'll go over some of the resources that I found, just to kind of wrap that section up. Let's see how long this video is.
If you want to
whoa. Okay. Yeah, we'll watch this and then we'll go over the resources, okay? Also, 2-Bit Dork, I'm sorry, I just saw that comment, AI plan. So, like, one of the, and, you know, maybe we'll go over this. I think I might just do, like, a straight up segment about it at some point. But, like, one of the theories as to why Elon is so hell-bent into getting into all of the various different systems is, essentially, because he wants the data to train AI, because, like, supposedly part of the goal to, like, because, you know if you think about it, you know, firing all of these federal workers doesn't make sense. Like, the that job has to be done by somebody, you know? And like, yeah, sure, part of the objective is very specifically to get the money that is going into the federal, like into federal workers to go into the private sector, right? The problem is, like we've just demonstrated, if you, and also and also from that very first guy from the video that we watched, right? Government workers get paid less for what they do. So if you then outsource these, well, I say outsource, yeah, if you outsource this work to the private sector, you are going to be paying more for the same job, right? And so it doesn't make sense apart from just funneling money into their pockets, which I guess it makes sense in a way, like if that's their goal, that makes sense. But I think that and I do think there's like credence to this idea that the next step is to try to figure out what, if any, of this work can be done by AI, and then like go ahead and implement the AI, right? You mean this is what it takes to get the advances in AI that we need to survive as a species and make it on Mars? Exactly. So like, also real quick, apparently an ad is coming up. So if anyone wants to throw their money my way, so you don't get those ads, now's the time. I think that would be the next. Yeah, that would be the next step, right? For me personally, like just without knowing too much about it, right? I mean, I have my hang-ups with AI, right? But like, I just don't think that I think there's quite a lot of work that is done by federal workers that you can't just replace them. You can't just replace them with AI. It does not make sense, okay? Like what I do, you can't replace me with AI as it stands right now, right? I think what is probably more likely, and probably at some point what we would, ultimately head into, is where it's like there are certain parts of my job that can be handled by AI, and if having AI do parts of that job mean that there's less people that need to be hired, I guess it means I don't necessarily have a problem with that kind of I don't have a problem with the research and everything that needs to go into that. I don't have a problem inherently with that part of it, but the way that Elon is essentially going in and just intimidating people into giving up access. All right, Parse. Thanks so much for the links. Good luck on your flight. Everyone wish Parse good luck as he takes his flight and hopefully does not flip upside down. Yeah, good luck. I'll talk to you soon, bud. Safe flight. But yeah, the way that Elon is basically going in with Doge and just I keep trying, my brain keeps giving me the word rape, but I don't know if that's untrue. He's literally just firing people, he's threatening martial action on people who are he's basically firing people until he gets somebody who will say, yes, here, access to the data, So and it's for what? For what reason? Why do you need access to all these things? And so anyways, again, I think maybe that could be the next stream that we do is a deep dive into that. But yeah, I can definitely see why idea, And also, Tubidork, don't worry. I again, like I said, I am also trying to keep my scope of the politics that I'm consuming solely on this Fed stuff because I can't handle much more than that, right? So yeah. It's like trying to lose weight by cutting off your leg. It may achieve the goal, but it is stupid as fuck. Yeah, exactly. If you bleed out and die, then yeah. DI is still gone. Stay safe, buddy. Exactly. So yeah. Okay, wait. The contracts start out cheaper, but then it costs more. So we wait, hang on, what? Oh, okay. It's like 10,000 spoons. Well, all you need is a knife. It's like meeting the man of your dreams and then meeting his beautiful wife. I think that's the next line. Okay. So, what was the... Oh, right, the video. Okay. God, I swear, I'm still here. I'm here. Okay. All right. Let's watch this.
If you want to understand the first few weeks of the second Trump administration, go back and listen to what Steve Bannon told PBS's Frontline in 2019.
The opposition party is the media. And the media can only, because they're dumb and they're lazy, they can only focus on one thing at a time. All we have to do is flood the zone. Every day we hit them with 3 things.
Oh, Mr. Bannon. Oh, Mr. Flood the Zone with shit. All right.
They'll bite on one and we'll get all of our stuff done. Bang, bang, bang. These guys will never be able to recover, but we got to start with muzzle velocity. So it's got to start, it's got to hammer. It's got to muzzle velocity.
Muzzle velocity. Bannon's insight there is real. Focus is a fundamental substance of democracy. It is particularly the substance of opposition. People largely learn of what the government is doing through the media. So if you overwhelm the media...
A record-setting number of executive orders.
Everybody pardons. Violence, non-violence.
Including assaulting police officers.
Birthright citizenship.
We live in unprecedented times right now.
If you keep it moving from one thing to the next...
So far, so good.
Is this legal?
If you give it too many places it needs to look.
You've never been deported before?
All at once.
All federal grants and loans will be halted.
Look, there is a purge happening.
Frankly, unprecedented in its nature.
Guantanamo.
DEI.
The Gulf of America.
No coherent opposition can really emerge. It is hard to even think coherently. Donald Trump's first 2 weeks in the White House have followed Bannon's strategy like a script. The flood is a point. The overwhelm is a point. The message wasn't in any one executive order or announcement. It was in the cumulative effect of all of them. The sense that this is Trump's country.
Dude, I hate this picture of him, man.
Now.
All right.
It is his government now. It follows his will. It does what he wants. That he is limitless. If he says that birthright citizenship is over, then it's over.
Punish
or so
Donald.
he wants you to think. In Trump's first term, people said, don't normalize him. In a second, though, the task, I think, is a little bit clearer. Don't believe him. Because Trump knows the power of marketing, the power of belief.
What was that? Was that Trump steaks?
Believe
Okay, I'm
him.
sorry.
Because Trump knows the power
That's so sinister, dude. What the fuck?
of marketing, the power of belief. If you make people believe something is true, you make it likelier that it becomes true. He clawed his way back to great wealth by playing a fearsome billionaire on TV. He remade himself as a winner after the 2020 election by refusing to admit he had ever lost. The American presidency is a limited office, but Trump has never wanted to be president. What he's always wanted to be is king. And his plan this time is to first play king on TV. If we believe he is already king, if we believe he already has all that power, we will be likelier to let him govern as a king. We will then give him that power. Don't believe him. Trump has real powers, but they are the powers of the presidency, the powers Joe Biden had, the powers Barack Obama had. The pardon power is vast and unrestricted, and so he could indeed pardon the January 6th rioters. Federal security protection is under the discretion of the executive branch. And so yes, Trump could remove protection from Anthony Fauci and Mike Pompeo and John Bolton and Mark Milley, and even Brian Hook, this largely unknown former State Department official who's under threat from Iran, who even donated time to Trump's transition team.
I would be very happy to put President Trump's record in the Middle East against any other.
Nah, you don't get it. Trump just knows about the little known loophole called "Who's Gonna Stop Me." I'm waiting. Hi Harper. I'm actually waiting to see. I am waiting to see specifically like what he might say about, like, yeah, what happens if what happens if he doesn't listen to, like, the Supreme Court, for example, right? I think I do think that, like, just like we saw with the I think I closed it, but just like what we saw with the Chutkan thing, right? I don't even think it's an issue of, like, Democrats are playing by the rules still. It's that, like, I mean, I can unfortunately see how, like, we need our, like, the response that comes out does need to be measured, in the sense that, like, they have to actually cover the thing so that you don't get a judge who throws it out because on, like, a technicality or, like, some trivial thing that could later fuck us because it could be overturned because of the trivial thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I understand what you mean in the sense that, like, on just playing the rules, they're playing like the situation is still 2010. Yes and no. I don't know if I want, like, I do think we are doing things, like, again, also welcome in, Sen, how you doing? Again, like, this is not something that I would have, look, I'm still scrolling. This is the litigation tracker. This is not something I would expect to see if we weren't doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, and these are all, like, recent. Look at this. February 19th, February 20th, February 4th, February 20th, February 17th. Like, all of these are in February alone. Here's January 28th. You know, like, so my thing is that, like, I understand that, like, it feels like we're not doing anything. Or it feels like we're playing by the rules or whatever. But I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think that we need to be able to, like, especially if we're dealing with somebody who is, like you said, he's going with a who's going to stop me, right? I'm sorry, hold on, give me a second real quick. I think we need to, if we're like, okay, yeah, so, sorry, real quick, I got derailed. I think that, like, we have somebody who is, like, flouting everything and is going through all the loopholes, and not even, I don't even know if you can really call these a loophole, because he's basically saying, yeah, like you said, who's gonna stop me? But I don't think the response should also follow suit if we want it to last. Does that make sense? I don't know what the exact strategy is, right? I don't know what the exact strategy is. I just know that it also can't similarly be go fast and break things, right? I'm back. Are we still Fed posting in here? Kind of still. It is play hardball, but play prop. Right. Again, you know, I am actually gonna see if Maruzzi knows about, like, the Judge Chutkan thing, and like see if I can find somebody who has, like, a comment on that specific ruling. But it seems unfortunate but reasonable to me. Like, even if I don't like the outcome, right? I would rather it get stopped now and then be re-brought back up, so that the future employees who are going to get fired can have more of a better, more legally grounded chance. That's kind of the problem, right? Is that I wouldn't want it to be where it gets farther along and we have more and more writing on it, and then it like gets overturned on a technicality or whatever, right? You can say that they're very quiet about it. It feels like absolutely no noise is being made, which feels more like nothing is happening. Yes and no, right? I think that is kind of part of the problem. Every post where basically it's like, what are Democrats doing on Fed News, for example, people are talking about what the Democrats are doing. Like, things are happening. They're just not, just like kind of like what Ezra is saying. It's just everything's happening so fast, right? Like, the firings are still happening, right? And now they're moving on to the email stuff. So people are going to talk about the email stuff, which is also pretty serious because it's another threat. It's another another tactic. But like, if we don't go back and talk about the firings, then they'll, I understand why it does feel like they are flooding. They're flooding with shit, essentially. You could say that, right? So yeah, of course, like, these responses aren't going to be amplified. Yeah, like, exactly. Now that, I think that it's partly also because, okay, look, I mean, I'm just talking about, like, the Fed stuff, but this is happening on every single front, right? So it is discouraging in the sense that, like, it's hard to see what is actually being done. But if you are able to pick something and look, like, pick like one thing and look at what's being done for that one thing, and if that one thing isn't being responded to in the way that you want it to be, there are things you could do about that, right? Like, I think that's I would say that I would tentatively say that's like a good way to go forward. Like, let's just give one example, right? I'm not gonna get Stunlock too much at this point, but I think that it is an important. I think your point is important to talk about, right? Let's just talk about, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just randomly scroll and, like, hit on one thing. Let's see. Oh no, it's USAID. No, I can't look at USAID right now. Here, let's look for, actually, here we go. Large scale reduction in force. Here's one thing. Termination of probationary employees. Here's another case that was brought on the 19th. This was after, wait, when was this? 19th? Yeah, this was the day after Judge Chutkan denied the temporary restraining order. Let's see if we can look at it. Filed on the 19th. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get, like, a quick summary of what's happening. Oh, no, here we go. Okay. The Office of Personnel Management ordered federal agencies to terminate... Oh, here, look. That's amazing. Acting Director Charles Ezell ordered federal agencies to terminate tens of thousands of probationary employees en masse. Probationary employees are members of blah, 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 blah. Among the factual claims, plaintiffs allege that defendants sent agencies standardized notices of termination drafted by OPM that falsely state that the terminations are for performance reasons. This is great. Plaintiffs allege that the mass termination violates multiple requirements under the Administrative Procedure Act and separation of powers principles by overriding congressional statutes authorizing and regulating agency hiring and firing. They seek a declaration that the mass termination is unlawful and a preliminary or permanent injunction setting aside OPM's order, ceasing terminations pursuant to the order, and rescinding any prior unlawful terminations. This is great. This is, like, quite literally. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even know about this. Like, the reason I brought up Judge Chutkan because is I thought that was the last thing on it, right? And it's not. Like, right after, the day after, they came out with another one with way more specific language. It's literally what I asked for when I didn't know about this, right? So I think that I understand what you mean, that like it looks like Dems are not doing anything, but I think that even if I would say, because we already know they're flooding the zone, don't assume that like because you're not seeing a headline about it that it's not happening. That's number one. And I say that I'm not like meaning like you're assuming or anything. I'm just saying that like even I am falling into the literal same type of thinking. But then also like if you don't see it, then you can do something about it, right? I mean, I'm not saying don't doom post. I understand why people are doom posting. You know what I mean? I'm not even accusing you of doom posting, because it's exactly in my thought process as well. Like, fuck, even if it's something as simple as like, hey, finding the litigation tracker helpful, donate now. Give them $1, you know? Like something like that. Like even if it's something small that like you can do, yeah, no, it's understandable. But I mean, like, no, the thing is, no, I think that right now I want people to know about it, and also like know what they can do. We'll later on we can butt heads on like, I think we can butt heads on like the people who are like deliberately doom posting, if that makes sense. But right now it's because of everyone that, and again, I'm hyper focusing on this issue because this is the only issue I can hyper focus on. But also like, I think a lot of people are looking at everything that's happening, and like, and in a lot of cases, if it's affecting them, they can't do anything but focus on it, you know? So, anyways, let's get back to this, because I realize I'm getting stun locked.
All of this, it was an act of astonishing cruelty and callousness. This from a man who nearly died by an assassin's bullet months ago. As much as anything ever has been, this, to me, this was an X-ray of the smallness of Trump's soul. But it was an act that was within his official power. But the president cannot rewrite the Constitution. Within days, his birthright citizenship order was frozen by a judge, by a Reagan appointee, who told Trump...
Calisthenics is a...
Trump's lawyers, I have difficulty understanding how a member of the bar would state unequivocally that this is a constitutional order.
I remember that.
It just boggles my mind. Then, a judge froze Trump's spending freeze. He froze it even before it went into full effect. And shortly thereafter, the Trump administration rescinded the entire order, in part to avoid a court case that it seemed pretty clear they would lose. What Bannon wanted, what the Trump administration wants, is to keep everything moving fast.
Muzzle velocity.
If you're always consumed by the next outrage, you can't look closely at the last one. Then, the impression of Trump's power remains, and the fact that he keeps stepping on rakes is missed. The projection of strength obscures the reality of weakness. Don't believe him. You can see this a few ways. Is Trump playing a part? Is he making a bet, or is he triggering a crisis? Those, I think, are the options, and I'm not certain that even he knows the answer. Trump has always been an improviser. But if you take it as a bet, a calculation, then here is a bet he's making. Maybe this Supreme Court, stocked with his appointees, gives him powers no peacetime president has ever possessed. Perhaps all this becomes legal now that he has asserted its legality. It's not...
Wait, is he talking about... Wait, hold on. Is he talking about the most recent executive order? When did he do that? I'm sorry, I know I'm derailing, but just the thing that he said right then and there makes me think of that executive order. Executive order... Does anyone remember the number of the one that he just did that's like got everyone, that's got everyone like in a kerfluffle? Oh, no. Huh? What? Oh, okay, let's fucking go. Okay. All right. Okay. Lurker Zone 2. I'm sorry, Testy. Your plan didn't work, okay? This is an admission of failure. I just want you to know that. Trump is now legally young and with a big penis. I'm sorry. Oh god. Okay, wait. I'm serious though. Where's the one that the executive order, like the... Can somebody tell me which one it's called or what it... We literally looked at it earlier, didn't we? Okay, hold on. When in vitro fertilization and ensuring accountability for all ages. Is that this one? Was it this one? Oh yeah, this was it. Executive order. They say I'm the youngest. Hey Zach, how's it going? Welcome in. Previous administrations have allowed so-called independently regulatory agencies to operate with minimal presidential supervision. Blah 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 blah. Here we go. Therefore, in order to improve the administration of the executive branch and to increase regulatory officials' accountability to the American people, it shall be the policy of the executive branch to ensure presidential supervision and control of the entire executive branch. However, moreover, all executive departments and agencies, including so-called independent agencies, shall submit for review all proposed and final significant regulatory actions to the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs within the blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I think that was what, but I think this was done recently. This was done like on February 28th. So I don't think that's what this guy is referring to. Okay, anyways, I guess it doesn't super matter. Let me go back real quick.
Isabetta's making. Maybe this Supreme Court, stocked with his appointees, gives him powers no peacetime president has ever possessed. Perhaps all this becomes legal now that he has asserted its legality. It's not impossible to imagine that bet paying off for him. So what if the bet fails? What if Trump's arrogations of power are soundly rejected by the courts? Then comes a question of constitutional crisis. Does he just ignore the court's ruling? To do that would be to attempt a kind of coup. I wonder if they have the stomach for that. The withdrawal of the OMB order to me suggests they don't, because...
The withdrawal of the OMB order? I'm sorry. What? Hold on, let's see if he talks about it.
Bravado aside, Trump's political capital is thin.
That's the first I'm hearing about this. Hold on. Okay. Trump administration rescinds memo calling for freeze on federal funding. Rescinded on January 29th. Well, but this was the... No, hold on. But this was... hold on a second. No. This was just a issue... This was just a rescinded... wow. Words. They just rescinded the memo. They didn't rescind the actual order, right? Like, they didn't... It was just a redaction of the memo. It wasn't a redaction of the actual... Like, I know everyone said that the actual... rescinds order, attempting to... Okay. Look at another source that this is just the first one that came... Yeah, well, no, I understand. I'm saying that, like, I heard about this when it happened. And it was just a it was just a withdrawal of the actual memo itself, and not a withdrawal of the executive order that slashed the or that froze the funds. Here we go. Let's just look at federal funding freeze. Okay. No, this is federal funding freeze rescinded. Can we get something that's inside the chaotic rollout of federal... Okay, wait, hold on. Actually, let me... Oh, fuck you. Thank you, archive.is. I appreciate you. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. The White House rescinded the directive. Then, after that, hold on. Sir. No, don't blink at me. Say it ain't so. As confusion mounted on Tuesday, the White House issued a Q&A on the freeze. The directive did interrupt the Medicaid system. Dude, if anyone knows Danable, I need to reach out to Danable and see how he's doing, because this affected his job. Like, his job is federally funded. Okay. Then, temporarily blocked Mr. Trump's order in response to a lawsuit filed with Democracy Forward. Oh, here we go. On Wednesday afternoon, the acting director of the Office of Management and Budget told federal agencies that the memo freezing aid had been rescinded, but the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said on social media that Mr. Trump's initial executive orders on federal funding remain in full force. So yeah. So maybe he's not talking, I don't know when this was that he made it, but yeah. But the memo that would carry out those executive orders by freezing all federal fundings was, at least for now, no longer in force. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's it. So I think that's if somebody has more information on, like, what's happening right now, that'd be nice. But I think, you know, we'll keep moving, okay? I hear Kitty. Yeah, but Kitty is very mad. Here, I'm just gonna let him out. Hold on. Yeah, I know, buddy. Shut up. Are you happy? What a stupid goober. Okay. All right. Sorry.
Gallup has Trump's approval rating at 47%. That is about 10 points beneath Joe Biden in January of 2021. Both in his first and his second terms, he entered office with approval ratings below that of any other president in the modern era. And so I thought these defenses of Trump's firings were telling.
It is the belief of this White House and the White House counsel's office that the president was within his executive authority to do that.
The law says he's supposed to give you 30 days notice. He didn't do that. Do you think he violated the law?
Well, technically, yeah.
Do you believe that it's legal?
By definition, it's his administration. They work for him at the pleasure of the president. And if it's illegal, it should be legal.
Wow.
So then ask yourself, why isn't Trump trying to make it legal? There is a reason Trump is doing all this through executive orders rather than submitting these same directives as legislation to pass through Congress. A more powerful executive could convince Congress to eliminate the spending he opposes, or to reform the civil service to give him the powers of hiring and firing that he seeks. And there's a good reason to do that. To write these changes into legislation would make them both more durable and would allow him to argue their merits in a more strategic way. He would be reforming the entire system. But Republicans at the moment, they have only a 3-seat edge in the House, smallest majority since the Great Depression. They have a 53-seat majority in the Senate. Trump is obviously doing nothing to reach out to Democrats. If Trump tried to pass this agenda as legislation, it would fail, and that would make Trump look weak. And Trump doesn't want to look weak. He remembers John McCain humiliating him in his first term by casting the deciding vote against Obamacare repeal. Congress is a place where you can lose. That is a tension at the heart of Trump's whole strategy.
Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders.
Trump is acting like a king because he's too weak to govern like a president.
With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America.
Greatest
and
thumbs
the
down ever.
Revolution of common sense.
This flurry of activity, it's meant to suggest the existence of a plan. But the closer you look, even at this first...
I mean, there is a plan. There is a plan. I just realized that a burrito and chips is just nacho with all the dip wrapped in a tortilla. I hope you're eating food. Yeah, there absolutely is a plan. And by the way, this will also be in the notes. Everyone should just, I mean, hell, if you just like literally just search, like if you do what I just did and just search for Project 2025 tracker, it's a great, like it's a actually great resource. Okay, you can select, you can look through, you can look through by agency. You can look through by like, you know, like subject. You can look through by like, you know, status and everything. And let's just go through like one of them, okay? Just any of them. Here, why the hell not? Okay. Here, let's get rid of this. Like you can see what's been completed, what's not been started. Look at all the sources. Yeah. So we have a plan. There is a plan, but I'll take what he says in the sense that, like, you know, I guess I didn't really think about that. He's trying to govern through executive order. And we've always known he's really loved his executive orders because I think that they're able to be implemented. It is a, you know, go fast, break things. And then later, like, it's because the challenges to it would be slow and legally done, right? We have the outline of a plan, very smart people working on it. It's the best plan, actually, better than any plans before it. We have concepts of a plan. Well, let's see what he says about it. I'll let him cook.
The less true it seems. They are scrambling and flailing already. They are leaking against each other in the press already. We learned that the OMB directive was drafted reportedly without the input or oversight of key Trump officials. It didn't go through the proper approval process, an administration official told the Washington Post. For that to be the process and product of such a sweeping signature initiative in the second week of a president's second term, it's embarrassing.
Okay, it's embarrassing, but like, it's not, hold on, Ezra. Like, if it's embarrassing, but and I'll take his point that, like, he is getting some pushback from Republicans, some, but, well, I'm gonna let him cook. What is this? What is the name of this channel or video that you're watching? This is the Ezra Klein Show. I will put it in the, I'll put it in the chat right now. Hopefully that comes through. Oh, I found it. Yeah. I mean, I'm liking it so far in general. I think that he's made some points that I don't agree with, but like, I mean, again, I did not think about the fact that because it's done through executive action, it is ultimately like it's weak because it doesn't have legislative backing. I guess part of the problem is that if he's able to break things past a certain point, then even if we get that legislative action, like even if we get the legislation and the ruling that we kind of hope for, or that should, you know, by rights be given to us, for some things it might be already too late, right? Like I think that for just as an example, right? Look, I mean, I'm not gonna dive too much into it, but look at all of the shit that's happened with like the USAID stuff, right? And all of the trust that has been broken with international communities. Even before you talk about like the whole Russia-Ukraine stuff, just the USAID stuff is pretty fucking bad. And then you can talk about Canada, you can talk about Greenland, you can talk about Russia, Ukraine, right? So yeah, even if, like, for example, even if USAID is saved, which I can see it being saved, but I can also, depending on how many employees get sent back home, how many programs will have to be dismantled and done away with, because in the interim, like, essentially, because people aren't working on it right now, it can literally go down the shitter. Like, for example, like experiments, right? Like, some things are just not going to be picked back up. And even if Congress comes along and, like, saves USAID, I mean, they're already talking about and implementing the assimilation of USAID into the Department of State. So at some point, you're not going to be able to stop it, even if the Supreme Court says, actually, hey, no, sir, you can't actually, like, get rid of USAID. So I do think that, like, I understand, like, I just don't think that, I mean, I like this idea, and I would hope that this idea actually ultimately plays out. And in that sense, this is, like, making me a bit more hopeful about it, but I also don't think we should be complacent, right? Y'all still rising? Yes. We're almost done, I think.
But it's not just a spending freeze. The Trump administration is waging an immediate war on the bureaucracy, trying to replace the deep state they believe hampered them in the first term. And a big part of this project seems to have been outsourced to Elon Musk, who's bringing the tactics he used at Twitter to the federal government.
We're about 20% of the original
size. Oh God,
this
fuckface.
So 80% left. Yes.
He has longtime aides now at the Office of Personnel Management, and the email that got sent out to nearly all federal employees even reused the subject line of the email he sent out to Twitter employees after the acquisition. A fork in the road. It's a kind of bragging. Elon wants he wants everybody to know it was him.
The Fed workers must rise like a dick at a funeral? Oh my God, McFiston, that's such a fucking godly comment. Oh my God, okay.
The email offered millions of civil servants a backdoor buyout. Agree to resign, and in theory, at least, you can collect your paycheck and benefits until the end of September without doing any work. The Washington Post reported that the email blindsided many in the Trump administration who would normally have consulted on a notice like that. It blindsided many of the people who are going to have to run these agencies that are now going to be dotted by resignations. I suspect Musk thinks of the federal workforce as this huge mass of woke and largely useless ideologues. For most federal workers, they have very little to do with politics. About 16% of them work in healthcare. These are nurses and doctors who work for the Veterans Affairs Department. How many of them does Musk want to lose? How many primary care doctors treating veterans is he hoping take a buyout? Twitter worked terribly after Musk's takeover. It had these frequent outages and bugs, but its outages are not a national scandal. When VA healthcare degrades, it is a national scandal.
Most of what we're talking about here is a group text service at scale. Like, how many people are really needed for that, you know?
What Trump wants you to see in all this activity is command. What is really in all this activity is chaos. They have convinced themselves that speed and force is a strategy unto itself.
I mean, yes, but also it is. Because, especially when it comes to the federal workers, for example, right? Again, this is, like, again, keep in mind, these federal workers don't earn a lot of money. They're in the government because it's a stable job. It has good benefits. If you take that stability away, right? Like, sure, they'll fight for some of them are fighting for their positions, and a lot of them are like me. I'm looking for an out because it's not sustainable for me. So like my it's not just that they think that and it's not true. Like, it is true to a certain degree. Because if you like if you talk about who was it? Is it Wout who said this? Where is this? What does he say? I want to get the full comment. Here we go. Hey, Glitterbell, I appreciate the sub. Thank you so much. Thank you. Here we go. Project 2025's plan to revise Schedule F, an attempt to make it easier to fire a large swath of government workers who currently have civil service protections. Aligned with Wout's vision. We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected, he said. When they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work because they are increasingly viewed as the villains. We want their funding to be shut down so that the EPA can't do all the rules against our energy industry because they have no bandwidth financially to do so. We want to put them in trauma. Like, it's basically, like, I said this earlier that they want to traumatize people. I didn't say that just for shits and giggles. This is like something that Wout, I don't know if you say Wout or whatever, but like, this guy got confirmed, just so y'all know. He was confirmed. Like, this is the person in charge of the OMB right now. Like, he's literally said this. So, like, you know, it's one thing when like, I think part of the messaging, I think, is that, first of all, people don't know. Yeah, vote, exactly. But also, like, people don't, like, I was saying this yesterday with Kid, that, like, I feel like, especially when you take the people who are basically like looking for the hurt to be delivered to other people, the cruelty is the point. Exactly right. Oh, vote, it's how it's pronounced. Oh, I see. I thought you were just coming in here and saying vote, which is also true. Like, okay, so like the immigrants and like trans people and like just any LGBT person, like, you can all go ahead and assume that the empathy for them out the window. You know what I mean? Like, for certain people, you're not going to find that empathy, right? Like, whenever they inevitably get targeted and like legislated against and all of that shit. Like, it's already happening, right? It's already happening. Like, I haven't even looked into all of it. I know it's already happening. But like, there's way more chances that like you or like someone you knows somebody who is a federal worker or somebody who is affected by the firing of a federal worker. Like a vet who suddenly doesn't have a doctor because their doctor like was a probationary employee, right? So this kind of, I just kind of hope that like this kind of thing is more easily spread because of this thing. And I will say that like I have never in my entire like 3 years ever gotten people on the phone telling me like that they appreciate the work I'm doing as a federal worker. But like for the first time, I've gotten more than one person tell me like federal workers are great. please keep doing what you're doing. Like, so at least for my part, I'm kind of, and I also got a very funny comment from somebody who basically was like, they were comparing me to an OPM employee and basically saying like, why don't they fire the OPM workers that are actually lazy instead of all just like anybody that they can get their hands on. I thought that was so funny. It's because she was so cranky. So it's like, it's interesting because it's like, I've never seen people be so, I like, because normally at my job, like politics, like you never, like I very rarely get people like who are like my customers basically. I very rarely get people who go ahead and like state their politics on the phone. You know what I mean? Like I read, like once in a while I'll get like a Trumper or two, you know, but like... Anyways, yeah, let's keep going.
It is, in a sense, a replacement for an actual strategy, for thinking and talking things through, for consultation, for planning things out. Don't believe them. I had a conversation a couple months ago with someone who knows how the federal government works about as well as anyone alive. And I asked him what would worry him most if he saw Trump doing it. What he said was he would worry most if Trump went slowly. If he began his term by doing things that made him more popular, that made his opposition weaker and more confused. If he worked by stealth, if he tried to build strength for the midterms while slowly expanding his powers and chipping away at the state in the places where it was weakest, where people couldn't really see him doing it. But Trump didn't do any of that. Instead,
muzzle velocity.
And so the opposition to Trump, which seemed so listless and absent after the election, now it's beginning to rouse itself. There's a subreddit for
hell yeah, let's
go. One of the top posts reads, "This non-buyout really seems to have backfired. I'll be honest, before that email went out, I was looking for any way to get out of this fresh hell. But now I'm fired up to make these goons as frustrated as possible."
He said goons. He said goons.
I write this, it's been upvoted more than 39,000 times. And civil servant after civil servant is echoing the initial sentiment.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, this 100% true. Like if, especially during after the like right before, like, you know, the firings and stuff, when the resignation email was all that was being spread around. Holy shit, that was one really good way to like go there and feel good. Because you got so many people who were just like, I've been in government for so long, I know how to dig my heels in, I'm not leaving. You know? Like, I like 100% in that sense. Like, yeah, Goon Cave, yeah. Dude's gonna get wrecked in the midterms. I agree, but I think also we need to keep that. Like, we need to not let people kind of forget about that the momentum still has to be there, right? Yeah, I know he's... My issue, like, and Aeon, I know he's slipping in polling, but, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, why does that... why does it matter, if that makes sense? Like... Because it wouldn't, I don't know that it would it change anything? Does that make sense? Thank you so much for the follow, Maddie Lazy. Also, for any lurkers out there who would like to click on that follow because you've been enjoying the content, please do. I'm more concerned about his weird comments about there being no more blue states not here. Yeah, I haven't even, lurkers, I saw that. I have no idea what he could mean by that. I'm a little worried, but I need to look into it again. Taking it one thing at a time. It matters. That is why he fears it. What do you think of the video so far? I'm almost done with it. Let me tell you what I think afterwards. I'm about to make my own, dear Elon. Dear Elon, could you please gently slide the wait, hold on. I need to read the entire, I'm sorry. Gently slide the when the butt plug slips out at the party after a gangbang and the 22 gallons of cum stored in your ass starts filling the room. He's just trying to kick the left when they're down. Yes, he is trying to kick the left. I know Well, but like, what does he actually? Is he? I think what we mean though is like, what is he? Is there something that he is hinting at, right? Lots of threats to stop mobilization efforts that the country is currently having. It's what authoritarians do. I'll look into it, okay? I'll look into it. I know that, yes, McFiston, that's one of the things he could be signaling towards. I've already seen the whole, like, the what's called the Blue Anon thing, right? And this past election, but I haven't had really time to look into like the legitimacy of it at all. I've just heard more than one person talk about it now, and so yeah, he said that there's a big surprise and I don't want it. Oh, I don't want it either, which I don't, that's why I don't want to know, like I don't want to be surprised by it, I suppose. But yeah, let's finish this. This is almost done, okay?
In Iowa this week, Democrats flipped a state Senate seat in a district that Trump had won easily in 2024. The attempted spending freeze gave Democrats their voice back as they zeroed in on the popular programs Trump had imperiled. Trump isn't building support here, he's losing it. Trump isn't fracturing his opposition, he's finally uniting it.
We're joining Canada.
This is the weakness of the strategy that Bannon proposed and that Trump is following. It is a strategy that forces you into overreach. To keep the zone flooded, you have to keep acting. You have to keep moving. You have to keep creating new cycles of outrage or fear to keep the media and the opposition overwhelmed. But then you overwhelm yourself. They are flooding their own zone. I don't know that Trump sees his own fork in the road coming. He may believe he's a power he is claiming. That would be a mistake on his part. It would be a self-deception that could doom his presidency. But the real threat is if he convinces the rest of us to believe he has power he does not have. The first 2 weeks of his presidency have not shown his strength. He is trying to overwhelm you. He is trying to keep you off balance. He is trying to convince you of something that isn't true.
I don't like this guy's blazer. Is it formal dress? Is it informal? Right at the end. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I just said.
You want to understand?
No, stop. I'm sorry. I stepped all over his fucking and his very powerful end statement. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
He is trying to convince you of something that isn't true.
I'm sorry.
Don't believe him.
I ruined everything. Okay, now. Okay. All right. Okay, here. I'll give it a like. Okay. Now, what do I think about this? Overall, I actually liked it quite a lot. I think that especially for somebody who, I think this is actually a great video for somebody who would initially be tempted into complacency, right? Hey, Deez, thank you so much for the resub. I appreciate it. 12 months, holy shit. I've been lukewarm on Ezra in the past, but that was pretty good, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think... here, I'll put it in one more time. I think that... Thank you, Deez. I appreciate it. I think that, like... you know, I think it's... The video's a little dated in the sense that, like, there are some things that he said that, you know, have turned out for not the best. Like, for example, the funding freeze thing. But I'll give him a little wiggle room on that, you know. I like that he brought up Fed news, right? I think that he's correct in that, you know, executive orders. And actually, you're right, Glitterbell. It's not an angle that I really considered before. That it's, you know what angle this is? You know what angle this is? This is, hold on. Wait. I know what the angle this is. Also, welcome in, Ties and Wime. I just had a lovely family visit. How is the homies? We are doing all right. How are you doing? I'm glad you had a good time. This is literally this, right? No, I hate that it does this. I hate and love that it does this.
I am the king. I will punish you.
Any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king.
That's literally that, right? It's literally that. So I think it's actually, I mean, I feel like in the sense that like he isn't doing this shit through, he's not doing this shit through like the proper means. I don't know about like how far you can take that. I don't know how far you can take that thinking forward. Like, for example, with Elon, is the point to like do this as inefficiently as possible? Like, yeah, they're creating chaos and they're creating they're doing what they are trying to inflict trauma, and they are inflicting trauma, don't get me wrong. Like, whenever you go over to Fed News, absolutely there are people who are not in good positions. So like it, you know, I don't want to make it sound like the you know, the digging in of heels and like the rallying that's done by like the feds on this subreddits. Like, I don't want to make it sound like that's the only sentiment, you know? Did you discuss the infighting? I think you'll have to be specific about which infighting you mean, McFiston. But yeah, I like the video. I think more people should watch it, honestly. I think it's a good message. Bannon hates Elon. Oh yeah, I know. Okay. Yes, correct. Also, sorry guys, y'all will be getting, if y'all want to avoid the ads, you know what to do. Let me see. Actually, is the ad over? Does it tell me if it's over? I need to see. I need to do a thing that like tells me if the ad is over, because I can't actually tell. Okay. Also, you're welcome. You're welcome, Testy. Hey, Nair. Isn't he allowed to control the amounts of people working for agencies and pausing funding for a certain amount of days? Yes, in the sense, like, I mean, he can call for like, he can do, again, there's a process for doing reductions in force, which, by the way, is not the preferred. This is, you know, reductions in force is not the preferred way to get rid of employees. Like, there are other ways to get rid of employees, like Vera, for example, that you're supposed to try to go through, because it results in less disruption and, like, amongst other things. Now, I understand that their goal, like, first of all, I do think that Elon is actually just that fucking brain dead, that he actually does not know what he's doing, and that he, like, I can 100% understand the whole, like, Project 2025, like, the overall plan, but the implementation of it is very stupidly done, right? It just so happens that because it's stupidly done, it's causing chaos in the way that it is. Like, you know what I mean? So I can't tell if, like, yes, the cruelty is the point and the chaos is the point, but also, like, because they're doing it in such dumb fuck ways, it's being challenged, and it's being, like, again, we are seeing employees getting rehired because they're realizing, actually, no, we fucking need these people. I just don't know what he is actually done yet. I know what it looks like. Okay, yes, here, Nair. If you want, I was going over this earlier, so you can, you know, don't feel bad for asking, like, basically. But, like, okay, so, oh, fuck. Okay, so for, just as an example, the Project 2025 tracker, I mean, even if you just Google it, you'll find it, right? But you can go through agency by agency, or like under topics, and see what has been completed and what's like going to be targeted next, right? Overall progress, wait, hold on, wait, what do you mean? Oh yeah, 36%, 36% of like all of their all of their goals. Real quick, the infighting. Yeah, I saw this. Steve Bannon called Elon Musk a parasitic illegal immigrant. Shut up, dude. It's so funny. Why is this so funny to me? Oh my god. I'm sorry. It's so good. This oh my god. I want to see what he says. Elon Musk should go back to South Africa. God. Questioning why white South Africans should have any role in U.S. affairs. Oh my god. Bannon further alleged that white South Africans are the most racist people on earth. I'm not worried about Project 2045. It's a conservative think tank with conservative policies. There will be some overlap. No, wait, Nair, they're hold on a second. Wait, what do you mean by you're not? Wait, hold on. Wait. No, they're following this to the letter. Like, all of these things are things that have been done and are continuing to be done. It's not some overlap. It's like what they are doing. Like the overlap. Okay, well, I guess what I mean is that the overlap is so complete that there is like so you know, now whenever people are talking about I mean, you have like, okay, like for example, that farmer. Like, one of the biggest stories that's like on fucking on TikTok, right? I don't know if y'all have seen this, right? Did y'all see that? The farmers on TikTok. The farmers on TikTok who are like, oh my god, I'm about to lose my farm. And then people are like fucking like raking them over the coals because this is literally what they voted for. This person in particular, this here we go. This was like I mean, you can look at it, right? Yeah, he relied on a Biden policy but voted Trump. Okay, I actually looked into this. It's actually kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, okay? Missouri cattle producer. Here, I'll turn this down just a tad. It sounds a little loud. Missouri cattle producer Skylar Holden, who had a $240,000 contract for water lines, fencing, and a well, said in a series of TikTok videos, "I've already done a bunch of the work, already paid for the material and the labor, so I'm out all of that costs. We are possibly going to lose our farm if an RCS doesn't hold up their contract with us." I think he's from what I remember, he's about like 80K in the hole, right? And basically, people are like fucking raking him over the coals. And he came out later and like he keeps on talking, right? He keeps on making videos. And apparently, like, the thing he said was that he voted Trump because he didn't want like the Democrats to make him put electronic tags on his cattle. He like apparently used a online quiz to help him pick which candidate to vote for. So like my and I'm not going to do like, I think plenty of people are gonna laugh at him and plenty of people are gonna like soy point and you know, and I do think it's a very like fuck around and find out thing, but then also like these are literally the people who bought into that lie that Project 2025 wasn't the goal. Like, he specifically said he didn't think that Project 2025 was the goal. Like, he believed Trump when Trump said, "I have nothing to do with Project 2025," right? The last time Trump messed with the farmers he also subsidized them to counter it. Yeah, but he messed with them. We had to like, didn't we have to bail out like the soybean farmers because of Trump? I just think that, like, yeah, I mean, yeah. I think Project 2025 is, like, really? You mean Congress? This is also a Republican project to get rid of small farmers and let corporations buy them out. Yeah, Trump has also said that specifically. Yes, he has. He said good low prices are good. He said low prices are good. Yeah, low prices are good for him. I think he almost specifically said that. We can look into it, but it's not something that like I mean, I wasn't gonna cover it. Like, I'm just covering it because I think it's now come up. But yeah, absolutely, it's worth looking into. That there were like signs apparently all over that area that was basically like, you know, Kamala prices up, Trump prices low. And it's like, yes, that's true. Trump price is low. Trump up. Your farm is gone. So low for him. I just think that, like, I'm not, and this is the thing, is like, I'm not even like dismissing the possibility that Trump could do, like, could have certain, like, common Americans, like, interests at heart. Oh, I mean, I find that very difficult to believe, but, like, also, I can understand, I mean, I can understand, why, like, people would vote for him in some senses, depending on what their interests are, but especially in the case, like, for example, with farmers, like, farmers should know better because he literally fucked them over last time. So if we're talking about learning from getting fucked over, if you have farmers who went through the entire, like, soy, like, the last go around and saw what happened to those farmers and then they voted for Trump again, then no, I'm not gonna have any sympathy for those people if they say that they didn't know what was coming, or that, I mean, I can somewhat feel sympathetic that they, like, believed Trump and now are losing their farm. I can be sympathetic with them on a personal level, but, like, as a voting bloc, if you don't learn your lesson, it's like Panda fucking not learning his lesson, you know? I don't know. I can't, at some point the sympathy runs out. The problem is that everyone has gotten a religious history within the last 4 years, and now they're trying to make it seem like him being president was the greatest thing ever again. Well, I feel like that's always... Yamada, I feel like that's always going to... Like, you already had people, like they do elevate him to, like, godlike status. But I think last time, he didn't have a plan. Like, he didn't. This time, he does. I mean, it's like, he does have a plan. It's right here. Let's have a look. Reproductive health. Actually, let's just look at reproductive health and take a quick see of all the things that are in the works. Okay. Prohibit abortion travel funding, completed. Reverse prohibitions on healthcare discrimination based on pregnancy to cover abortion, completed. Reinstate the Mexico City policy banning aid to groups that even communicate about abortion services, completed. Fund studies into the risks and complications of abortion, not started. Promote fertility awareness-based methods as opposed to contraception for family planning. In progress. Okay, wait, hold on. If I were Elon or Trump, I would be king posting weekly. Then when he leaves office in Project 2025, it didn't happen. It would be easy. Wait. If I were Elon or Trump, I would be king posting weekly. Then when he leaves office and Project 2025 didn't happen, it would be easy. Conservatives doves going forward by pointing out Dems are crazy people. I think that happened. Okay, hold on. Yes, that stuff, that kind of, yeah, that was the, dude, that was, no, I'm not getting one guide. I think that this is an important point. Okay? That happened. No, wait, stop. I know Nair. No, I know Nair. He's not one guying me. I mean, he is one guying me, but he's not. This is not your average crackle, okay? Yes, that happened before. When like during the election. Yes, we absolutely had debate board / people's elbow in here. Like absolutely sucking like up to the whole like, oh, Project 2025 isn't that bad, it's not like whatever, there's nothing, he's literally said he has nothing to do with it. And now, especially when you have a fucking tracker that like breaks it all down, and the also, by the way, if you look at the actual Project 2025 thing, that thing is like pages and pages and pages long. Not a whole lot of people went through the entire thing and broke it down in such a like a comprehensive way. And even if they did, even for the people who did take the most alarming things out of it and like tried to spread information about it, it was all like, it's not going to happen. But now it's pretty clear that not only is it happening, it's happening like we're 36% of the way there. We're 36% of the way of like almost 300 goals. No, nobody's getting a stimulus check. I don't know where people are even getting that from. I've heard that and I don't even know where that's coming from. I consider Nair crazier than Grackle? Nah. I mean I understand why y'all say that, but respectfully. I disagree. But like, this is the thing, is like, Elon said that shit? Oh, really? I mean, I understand what your point is. That, like, you know, like, I understand what you're saying, but the problem is now, again, like with the farmers, it's pretty clear that, like, it was always a lie. It was always a lie that Donald Trump, like, again, I don't know, somebody said this earlier, but like the literal person who worked on it is now part of his administration. Is that vote? Is that literally vote? I think it is, right? Am I wrong? Yeah, that's literally vote. By the way, hold on, can we go back? Where did he... Oh my god, I needed to have... Oh, I'm sorry. This is the best part of it all, right? He's literally the one where he said... He's literally the thing... He's literally the person that said, put them in trauma. We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. When they wake up in the morning, we want them to not go to work because they are increasingly viewed as the villains. We want their funding to be shut down so that the EPA can't do all the rules against our energy industry because they have no bandwidth financially to do so. We want to put them in trauma. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Nair is capable of shutting up. Vote, like from the boys? Oh, I have no idea about any of that. Okay, we are in trauma. Anyways, I mean, I mean, all I'll say is, at least, actually, you know what? I wasn't gonna pull this one out, but I think that it's relevant, so I will. I think people, you know what? Fuck it. Since we're talking about the farmers and we're talking about Project 2025 and we're talking about yeah, I think fuck it. We'll watch this. I think this is I mean, I know that shame and fucking around and finding out is going to have to be the strategy for people. But I mean, I can only shame so much personally, just because of who I am. And I like to think that this is more of my like personal approach. So yeah, here, let's watch this. We'll watch this to like wrap it up. I mean, it's not about federal workers, but I think that it's probably what we'll need for the people who don't see what's happening yet, right? Or who are like seeing it but aren't really like yet fully bought into this idea that like it's still like gonna work out for them somehow, right? Yeah, I guess in denial. Yeah, okay. Anyways, wait, stop. Okay, wait. Oh no. Please don't. Can I restart it? Okay, wait.
Project 2025, didn't you read that? That's his platform.
Hey, Skylar, my name's Will.
Wait. What do you say? I swear, I fucking hate.
Oh, everybody says in the comments, Project 2025, didn't you read that? That's his platform.
Hey, Skylar, my name's Will Westmoreland, and I'm a farmer down in Southwest Missouri.
By the way, that first guy was the guy who is, he's the guy who I just talked about, who is losing his farm. He's probably going to lose his farm because he's 80K in the hole, and then Trump froze the federal contract that would pay him out. So.
And I just wanted to reach out to you and tell you that I am not an FAFO kind of guy. We probably disagree with each other on everything political, but there's a very specific reason why people are getting upset with you. And I wanted to explain that to you if you'd be willing to listen to an older guy kind of walk you through the process. Now, I'm not an FAFO guy because I know what's going to happen to poor people, the elderly, children, single moms, and over 250 million people every night around the world that go to bed hungry if the American farmer and rancher is run out of business because of Trump's policies. And that's what I want to explain to you tonight if you'll listen to me. I also wanted to let you know I sent you a private message. And if you ever want to get on the phone and you want to talk about the issues that Trump is forwarding that are bad for agriculture, I'd be willing to do that, and I'd be willing to listen to your arguments as well. I also want to let you know that I've been a political consultant for over 30 years. I want to be right up front about that. I do that in addition to farming. And I want...
Isn't he great? Like, holy shit. I didn't think we were listening to like a 2+ minute video from a farmer. And I was like, oh my God.
I want you to know a lot of younger people don't know, and I don't mean that in a condescending way, but more of an educational way. A lot of younger people don't know that right-wing talk radio and news.
Why are you farmerist? Oh my God.
Pundits, the talking heads, and right-wing talk radio, etc., have been working for over 40 years to develop in rural people exactly the kinds of ideas that you have in your head, that all politicians are crooks, that they're all the same, that you can't trust traditional media, that anything you hear that comes out of Washington, D.C. or New York or the New York Times or CBS News, that it's all a lie. And they did this on purpose, and they started with Ronald Reagan. We used to have what's called a fairness doctrine in this country, where if you were a radio station or a television station and you were using the public airwaves to present a message, we had a fairness doctrine where you were required by law to share the other side of the story. And President Ronald Reagan, who was president when I was in high school and a little bit younger than that, had the fairness doctrine eliminated. He had it taken out of the books. And there was a specific reason for that. It was designed so that organizations like Fox News and right-wing talk radio could start spreading the lie that all mainstream media was bad. Now, this was during the time of Walter Cronkite and Dan Rather, all the other news heads that we had out there that were highly respected.
Welcome in.
But it was a strategy to make it so that the airwaves no longer had to present an unbiased case. And then these right-wing media sources like Rush Limbaugh and Fox News, etc., began pouring it on to rural America. You can't trust politicians. You can't trust the news. And what they did is they focused on destroying the trust in these institutions so that they could replace it with another institution. And they did that. They replaced it with Fox News. They replaced it.
Yeah, I don't know if we can revert it either. I don't think it's gonna happen. Even if we had like the political will to do so. I mean, I just think we need to change the strategy. Like, we're not gonna get, yeah. They gotta up the emote limit on 7TV. These BS, you have so many good ones I want to add. I know, Omni. Omni, it's because of you. I've never ever hit the 1,000 emote limit ever before you came into my life. I just want you to know that, okay? I just want you to know that.
Right-wing talk radio. And I can't tell you how many times when I was growing up, when I was your age, I'd walk into a job site or be on a farm and I would hear right-wing talk radio blaring on the radio all day long. And then after they had destroyed our faith in media institutions in rural America, they then turned their guns toward the government itself. And they began building in us a distrust of government organizations. And Skylar, here's the facts, okay? You can look this up on your own, but these are the facts. Rural America uses more welfare than the blue cities do. Rural America needs more help feeding our children. We need more help keeping our hospitals open. And guys like you and I, farmers out there that grow row crops or do agroforestry or raise cattle, we take welfare too. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that because we can't control the cost of our inputs. We can't control the cost of what we sell our products for. We got to pay for shipping both ways, as Kennedy said. But the reality of the situation is they were able to instill in us the idea that the government money coming to us was okay and was a good thing, but the government money going everywhere else was a scam or a sham or communistic or socialistic, etc. So it reached a fever pitch finally where a lot of rural people, over 70% of rural farmers and ranchers, only believe the Fox Newses and the talk radio. And when they came to you and told you that Trump wasn't going to implement Project 2025 and that he didn't have anything to do with it, you believe that. And you're not alone. All I'm here to tell you is that you were lied to. I'm not asking you to admit you were wrong. I'm not telling you effed around and found out, because I don't want to see you lose your farm. And if there's anything I can do to help you not lose your farm, I'd be happy to do it. But in the distrust that you built up for government over time, and due to the fact that you didn't think mainstream media was reliable anymore, and you began listening to the news sources that tried to convince you every day that Project 2025 was not a Trump deal, even though many, many people on his campaign worked for Project 2025, they put it together, they helped write it. There was an entire section on agriculture. And in that section on agriculture, they specifically say they're going to cut out programs like this. Then they're going to cut out crop insurance. And Donald Trump is on record, my friend. And Skylar, look this up. Don't take anything I'm telling you at face value. You look it up. That's the difference between me and a lot of people on here. Check what I've said. Make sure I'm not lying to you. But Donald Trump is on record saying that corporate farming is better than small family farms and ranches. And Skylar, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to corporatize agriculture. And I'm not talking about when you and I go out and put together an LLC so that we can get the tax benefits and the protections from liability that come with that. I'm talking about big ag corporations in Wall Street buying up family farms and ranches as they go out of business so that they can turn it into just another investment. In the last 10 years, we've broken every single record in regard to the number of farms and ranches being bought up by investment companies in the United States. And I'd be happy to share all of that data with you. But my friend, I think the worst thing that they did to us in rural America is they convinced us somehow to place the culture wars over our own well-being. And what do I mean by that? Brother, when I was young, you didn't care what anybody did in their bedroom. Gay, lesbian, trans, whatever. That was their life. And the only way the law changed was just to say that you can't discriminate against those people when you're hiring, and you can't commit acts of hate against them because they're different. than you and I as heterosexual white men. That's all the law did. And Skylar, did you know that the Southern Baptist Convention, and I was a Southern Baptist for a long time, do you know that the Southern Baptist Convention had its own clauses in their charter that said that abortion was okay in the event that it saved the life of the mother or the child might be deformed? But it was political hacks in the religious Christian movement that came in and politicized the abortion topic in order to get folks like you and I in rural America to turn against it.
I have been vindicated. All that shit he said just to work in a woke message at the end. I didn't know the Marriage Protection Act was under Clinton. Good question. Wait, hold on. But then that he's just saying like over time that's what has like happened, right? I don't know. I wait, maybe I missed the point that he was going for, or that you're going for. Obama.
So I'm not here to tell you FO, brother. I know how hard you work every day, and I know what you're trying to do for your family because I'm doing the same thing. And you may listen to what I have to say, and you may just think this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It's the most woke thing I've ever heard.
I hope you listen to it with an open mind, and I hope you'll double check and research what I've told you. Because the truth of the matter is, we've been lied to. So at this stage, I'm not even asking you to say you were wrong. I'm just asking you to admit that you were lied to. Trump was forwarding Project 2025. He just hired the guy to oversee cost and contracts in the federal government that wrote Project 2025.
This is so Joe
Rogan, lied to, my friend. And nobody's going to judge you if you just admit that you were lied to and you made decisions.
I mean, okay, listen, okay. I like this man. I love him even, but yeah, no, yeah, people are gonna be judging him even if he says that he was lied to, right? Like, he absolutely is gonna get judgment. Maybe not from him, right? But he is going to get judged. Let's be clear about that. And it might affect what he ends up, what that other guy ends up doing. But personally, I don't necessarily care if he if all that he does is like realizes it and then just like votes differently next time. That's kind of a step in the right direction for me, but you know, we'll see.
Based on the fact that you thought these contracts were going to be kept and that you were lied to. And then the next step is get involved with us to fight back. Doesn't make you a Democrat, doesn't make you a turncoat. It just means you see wrong when it occurs and you fight back against it. Anyway, I hope that makes sense and have a great day.
Yeah. I think this man. I'm not a Texan, I'm not a TikToker. I like what this guy had to say, okay? I'm in the you fucked yourself and you fucked me, so I don't have to give one fucking iota that you were affected by your own dumbass decisions camp. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I just can't, I do have that for, I don't know, man. I'm just saying that, like, I think we do need to capitalize when we can on people who are changing their minds because it now affects them personally. Where we can, the people who can stomach reaching out to them, like this guy right here, I think that they should do so. Because I personally don't think that it's enough. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that this guy reaching out to that man, I don't think takes away from, like, the ultimate goal. Or, like, I'm fine with this effort being put forward. You know what I mean? You fucking. I told him, yeah, no, I understand, Mr. Brandon. I mean, I talked about it yesterday where, like, it really depends on what you are mainlining. Like, I do think we need, like, more mainstream democratic lines of things, right? Better man, hope he loses his Jesus Christ, lead vitamin. Okay, wait, what did Nine say? So crop insurance and contract freezes is his claims. What do you mean by is his claims? Like, that is what's happening to that other guy, the Skylar Holden guy. That is what's happening. It's because of the, like, he's about to lose his farm because of the federal funding freeze. I thought TikTok was yeeted. Didn't it get a stay? Oh my god, okay, hold on. Do all farmers look alike? That's farmerist.